Hey everybody, it's me. We're just getting ready here. This is gonna be quite the stream, I think. Happy that all of you are here right now. I totally saw somebody just hit me with a follow, and because of my setup, I don't see who it was. I'm the worst. But thank you for the follow. Oh, here's the activity feed. Boop. Oh, it was Isaac. Thanks, Isaac. No, wait, that was like months ago. It was T Lim No Daman. TLIMONDAMAN. Thank you for the follow. However you prefer to pronounce that. And now I'm going to bring in my fearless guest, Mr. Muffler Man. So in 3 seconds, you are going to be audible. So just be ready for that. 3, 2, 1. Beep.
Hello, denizens of Shane's Twitch chat! It is I, the Red Muffler Man. You may know me from my various works on Red Muffler Man at Twitch.com and Red Muffler Man at YouTube, also known for his works at Red Muffler Man on Twitter. Today, I am here with the glorious Shane Valshane, and today we're going to be talking about one thing and one thing only, and that, my friends, is Japanese cartoons, also known as Japanimation, also known as anime.
Damn, you came ready for that, huh?
I literally just improv'd all of that in one go.
Incredible.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Hello. Is it pronounced Tilimanon? Tiliman? Hey Doom. Hey Slayer. Hey Kojak. All right.
Hello, everyone.
This is really you guys. Oh fuck! I forgot one thing. Nope. I see it. It's right here. I can grab it. I don't need to leave the room. We are ready. We are ready to rock.
Shit. Let's fucking go.
So at this moment, I am going to change the scene to this scene right here, and thankfully, let's see. I forgot. I need to Control F5. Oops, I need to click first. And I go like this.
Damn, my man's is wearing a suit.
I am. I got dressed up for this. I can't see myself. You can all see me. And guess what? It gets crazier. Today I am not Shane Valshane. Today I am Professor Valshane.
So, okay, I literally put on my glasses in order to feel smart as well.
Wow.
So now I feel like I have to up the ante and maybe wear 2 pairs of glasses.
You know what? That is just fine. Whatever makes you feel best about it. So,
yes.
The one thing I do not have is I did not think of any music that I could play during this. Hopefully that's okay. Unless, do you have any recommendations? I mean, we could just play like the Ace Attorney thing for like an hour and a half or however long it takes to get through it.
I mean, if I had known this ahead of time, I would have given you the MP3s that I use, which are just a mix of the Zeroscape OST, the Tsukihime OST, and like a bunch of just obscure fucking visual novels.
I will have to keep that in mind for next time. You know what I can do? I can go to Spotify, right?
Yes.
And I can hide the scene again because we don't all need to see my Spotify. So
or your desktop.
Huh?
Or your desktop.
That's true. That's true. I'd never even see my desktop, so I don't know what's on there. Ah! Drakenau, thank you for the follow. Just play the Smash Bros theme. Which one?
Yes.
I thought about it. There really is like a stereotype for Smash players. My buddy, we were playing Smash last night because my friends won't play any other fighting games with me. And my buddy said you were literally the sweatiest Smash player of all of us, and I was viscerally wounded. It's terrible. All right, there is a lo-fi mix here that I'm looking for. Come on.
Let's see.
Is that it? Is that it? Please be the one. Please be the one. Uh-huh. Perfect.
All right, I can't hear it, so I'm assuming it's perfect.
It is a chiptune arrangement of Life at Garreg Mach Monastery from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Okay, sick.
It's about as good as we're gonna get, and it's just gonna be playing for the next hour and a half. By
Gotcha.
the way, the artist here, I will say it now, and I should put it on screen, but instead I'll just put it in chat. Is the artist Chippy Bits?
That is a good name.
It is. I actually am a big fan of chiptune music.
Do you happen to be aware of, I only bring up their name because they're a close friend of mine, a man by the name, he once went by DJ Solar Bear. He now goes by, Twirlin' Curtis.
I do not think so. However, oops, I did the thing I said I wasn't gonna do. However, I would love to hear some of their music if you would recommend.
I will hit you with some of their old stuff because their whole shtick is they used to do a lot of stuff for like Andrew Hussey and they did a bunch of Homestuck music, but they composed it all on a Game Boy.
That's dank.
And it's kind of some of the sickest shit I've ever seen come out of Homestuck.
I
Which,
genuinely,
as much as I like to give shit to Homestuck, there's some pretty dope shit that came out of Homestuck.
I don't even. I'm completely ignorant, so I am.
Good.
I'm free of such burdens. So, anyways, we're about 15 minutes past the hour, and that's my fault. But I think I'm on camera, right? Professor McPhee
Yes.
here. Professor Valshane, whatever you prefer, either is fine. Here we go. I'm so excited to start this with you all. This is A&M 101, Introduction to Anime. This is a crash course, a crash college course. It's worth a single credit. It's an elective. Here we are. It is March 14th, 2023, a little past 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope you all reset your clocks. I just waited for it to go back. My watch is now correct again for the first time in 4 months. I am joined by Mr. Mufflerman himself, as we went through probably 5 or 10 minutes ago at this point. And hopefully you are tuned in to twitch.tv/Shane Valshane. So that is here. I mainly put it there to be the promo image, and also I never changed it back, so this is the first slide. We have quite a show for you, quite a presentation. I feel pretty good about this. By the way, tell me if my volume levels are a little weird. I think they should be okay. I checked them. But if you need me to turn it up or anything, just let me know in chat. Yeah, so let's get started. Before we jump to the table of contents, I feel that I should introduce myself. And now I have keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so we're good. Who is Shane Valshane, also known as Shane McPartlin? Because, you know, it's good marketing to use your real name for voiceover, I guess? I'm gonna hold that Twitter handle till the end, but now I'm more and more worried, like, maybe I should separate those two. So who is Shane Valshane? I'm an anime enthusiast. I won't say that is the most prominent thing about me, but it is why I'm here presenting this to you. I'm a voice actor, which is why, I think, can you see my mic? You can see it. You can see the pop filter at least. It's right here.
I can see the mic.
You can see the mic. And then you are also all standing in my booth. You see that? That's the whatever. I actually built these panels. What else am I? I'm a content creator. Sometimes I make silly posts. I'm a streamer. We are here right now. Artist? Question mark. I drew the little Neko arc that you can see up there on the corner of the screen. I draw other things as well, but you know, if you try really hard, then people have, you know, makes you vulnerable. I'm working on stuff. Sometimes I post art. Yeah, and I like doing that. Nickname given to me by the Mufflerman himself, FGC Speedwagon. I'm not very good at fighting games, but I sure do think they're neat. I like to watch when people play them and ask questions and sit there in awe, just like Speedwagon from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That is a bit about me. Do I have anything else on here? That's right. There's some other stuff about me, like what I do for a living and stuff. That's not really important right now. I'm just a person, you know? I'm just a guy standing in front of a Twitch audience, asking them to open their minds and consider perhaps a new perspective on anime. Here's a list of all the anime that I've watched since the pandemic started. Just kidding. That's the whole list. And honestly, I've slowed down a lot. I think most of those, I want to say through Kado no Kyokai was just 2020 and 2021. So I've slowed down a little bit.
All right, so I need to say something immediately, right?
I think
We're
I know
gonna
what
come
you're gonna
back
say.
to this list,
Please.
and we're gonna talk about Promare.
I literally knew you were gonna say that, and I knew this because I had to separate the list into 2 text boxes, right? And I know that Promare is your favorite anime movie, and I know that it's easy to find because it's there on its own, right at the top, with a big fat C rank.
I feel as if you've made that part of the list specifically
No.
to challenge me.
It was specifically just because it fit.
You motherfucker.
I have been keeping this list for like this is like a note, like on my Google Keep. This is a note, and I've been keeping it since literally like April 2020. So
But
I
Rascal
apologize.
is an S, so I can't be too hard on you.
Rascal is so good. We can definitely talk about this some other time. I hope we can still be friends. So, anyways, let me introduce my gracious co-host, who is Red Muffler Man. Obviously, we can see an avatar representation of Mr. Muffler Man in the top right corner of the slide, along with a link to some of his socials. Great branding, I have to say. Red Muffler Man on Twitter, Red Muffler Man on Twitch, and Red Muffler Man on YouTube. I have to go between Shane McPartland and Shane Bell Shane, so mainly hear me in my left here. Actually, I know why this happens. But to fix it, I need to go over to Twitch real quick. Or not Twitch. I need to go over to OBS.
Focus right. Oh.
It is Focusrite because this is it's a one channel, but I know there's a way to fix it on OBS, and I don't remember exactly what it is. But if I go into Mic Aux and I go into properties, I think what it is.
Then change it to like mono, right?
There's something like that. That's what I want.
Eh?
Settings. Audio. Disabled meters, advanced. Windows and ducking, low latency audio. Hotkeys. Webcam alerts, Twitch chat, mic aux. I forget what the reason is for this, but it is because I'm using an interface.
Huh.
Have you ever bumped into this before?
No, because the interface that I use for streaming
Single
is the
channel.
Go XLR, and
Okay.
I always have it set up to be dual channel. Whereas, in my booth, I record in stereo, but I record to 2 separate channels at different volumes.
I know you do the splitter thing.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if I can't figure it out, but I know Doom is right, and I would like to filters, properties, advanced audio properties. Here we go.
Oh, I see a mono box.
Where? Where?
It's to the left of balance.
Let's go, baby. Doom, what do I
Yeah,
know?
baby! That's what it's all about!
Did we do it? Did we get him?
Yeah!
Can
I
you
see
tell,
the 2
by the way?
bars.
Can you hear and amazing. There we go. Teamwork makes the dream work, everybody.
Let's fucking go.
So let me get that projector back up. This is going very smoothly so far. I'm very excited to let's see here. Do that for you. And go over here. Okay, so who is Red Muffler Man? Thank you. Also, I am behind on chat. Celebrating Shield Hero with good reasoning. Oh yeah. I would be happy to talk rankings at the end of the presentation. Let's just and I'm not trying to like hey. I just want to make sure I get through everything first. So who's Red Muffler Man? A homie. He just helped me fix the audio. He's a voice actor. He is a video editor. He is a streamer. He is a mid-level fighting game player. This is straight from his Twitter bio. He is a content creator. He has not seen any of these slides. So everything here is my responsibility. If you see something that looks that you hate, that's me. Something else about him, he is a Shiki Tono historian. at least many Shikis. I specifically actually didn't write Tono because Shiki is so much more than just Tono. They're not even all named Shiki anymore. Sometimes they're named like Leo Shirazumi or Tepeu.
Or Kanan.
What else? What else? He's a good guy. He's a good guy, as we can all see. And other stuff. Is there anything you'd like to say about yourself before we get started?
I just feel very. I'm very flattered. Thank you. I'm terrified of these slides. So we're just going to have to see what you have in store, you anime motherfucker.
I know that you have a fear of slides from when you cracked your head open.
Yes, when I decided to run up the metal slide and crash my
The metal
fucking
slide
head
was honestly like metal slide made men out of boys. Like
It really
like,
did.
Going down that slide in the summertime when it's like that sun has been beating down on it, like you're getting cooked. Like that's literally like, you know how they have like you go to like a Mediterranean place and they've got like kebab and gyro and stuff and they've just got the thing spinning. Like that's like your ass when you go down that metal slide after a day.
Yeah, basically. Or worse, your exposed arms wearing nothing but a white t-shirt.
Ow. Death. Anyways, so that's us. I would like to go over quickly the agenda, the table of contents, essentially for this presentation. The first thing we are going to talk about is what exactly is anime. What is it really, right? Like, I know we know, like, oh, this is an example of anime, but like, we need to talk about the term a little bit. I want to talk about some genres and tropes with examples, just kind of giving an overview. The idea with this presentation, the entire reason I made it was a while ago I was talking to somebody who knew nothing about anime and they were in charge of running like the anime club at the library they work at or something. And I'm like, you know what? I should make a presentation. And that was in November, and here we are in March. Common hang-ups some people have with anime, because I would like to kind of have this act as I'm sure many of us who are in chat do watch anime, but maybe take this down, cut it down a little bit, and turn it into a nice compressed video, and you can send it to skeptics or people who are on the fence or maybe looking to get into it. So I would like to address some common hangups. Relevant terminology, there's not necessarily an exhaustive list, but just some things you might see people talking about in anime spaces online. And then a little bit on culture shock, things that might surprise you being an anime that we, at least in the United States, at least where I'm from, would be very, very unusual. And then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So, what is anime really? What is anime in the theoretical sense, right? And Wikipedia says, anime is hand-drawn and computer-generated animation originating from Japan. Outside of Japan, and in English, anime refers specifically to animation produced in Japan. However, in Japan and Japanese, anime describes all animated works, regardless of style or origin. Right? So, that's according to Wikipedia. Some guys on Reddit say this shit. And they're welcome to. There's a lot to be said about, like,
actually, this doesn't count as anime because anime needs to be made in Japan, or, actually, this doesn't count as anime because, anime, needs to look like anime, and, this doesn't count as anime because it's,
whatever. Anyways, so that's what some nerds on Reddit are saying. What is anime in a practical sense? This is kind of my definition. I submit that anime is a medium or a style, not a genre. So you can have, like, there's anime, like the actual, like, here is, like, animated, whatever, doesn't matter. I don't really think it matters too much if it's from Japan or anything, but you'll know it when you see it, right? And then also we have other examples of, okay, people say, like, it's an anime fighter, or it's an anime RPG. But obviously it's not like literal anime. It's not like you just like put it in your PS4 or whatever, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and watch like 24 episodes real quick. It's a style. It's a descriptor. I would like to point out, genre is defined as a category of artistic composition, as in music or literature. I say music is literature. I don't know either. Specific, whatever. Characterized by similarities in form, style, or subject matter. So I asked you, chat, the gallery, the question: is live action a genre of literature? And I think that's silly. Of course not. So we've got this picture here. If you look up anime, it'll say something like that. Huh? Fucking wrong. Okay? That is bullshit. I just don't think it counts. It isn't JoJo though. In a technical sense. But anyways, so like I said, here we've got, this is an anime fighter. So what is it? It's a fighting game. Is it anime? No, but we call it an anime fighter. Okay, so in this case, anime is being used to describe the art style of the fighter. Here, this is an anime visual novel. Same thing. It is an anime-styled visual novel. And this right here, obviously, this is not anime. This is art. This is not animated. There is nothing about it that is moving. It is not 24 episodes. It doesn't drag towards the end like Naruto. By the way, that's the source on that. I would never dream of posting something without the source. That would make me a sinful child. Anyways, so that's my submission. Anime is a medium. It is not necessarily a genre. And okay, so then what is a genre? Let's talk about the genres. And by the way, Mr. Mufflerman, feel free to cut in whenever you have something to say, and if not, that's totally fine too. I will keep on charging ahead. We've got Mihoyo is a genre, baby. Yeah, that's called peak fiction. That's the genre that's in. So,
you could say I am mid in the streets, but peak in the sheets.
Huh?
You heard me.
Would I say that you are mid in the streets and peak in the sheets? Is that... I wouldn't know.
We will simply have to find out.
Proper name is rather similar to the... Again, yes, linguistics, right? Let's talk about the concepts of this, though. So anyways, let's talk about genres, right? Now, of course, anime, like anything, has a variety of genres. We've got mystery, like Erased. We've got thriller, like The Great Pretender. We've got action, like Demon Slayer. We've got adventure, like Hunter x Hunter. Comedy, like Gintama. And then we've got rom-com, right? And isekai, shonen. These are a little more anime-specific genres. Shoujo, seinen, josei, magical girl, mecha. So these 6 on the top, this is what I consider like normal shit. Like you tell somebody like, oh, it's this kind of story, and even without knowing anything about anime, they will kind of know what you are talking about. This is anime specific shit. I'm pointing at my monitor. Where is it? This is anime specific shit, right? This is stuff that you will probably not know much about without being at least somewhat of an anime fan. So you may notice there is a little bit of overlap there, and we will get to that. So let's talk about shonen first. Shonen literally means like it's for boys, right? That is like for young men or for young boys. It's probably what you started with. Like if you watched Toonami in the 90s, that was it, right? Like here are a ton of examples: Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, whatever. I shudder to think how much younger some of you guys are. Did I say it wrong? Gintama? Isn't slice of life a genre as well? Yes, it is, and we will get there because I forgot to include in that slide. As the famous Robbie Damon said, oh man, I wish that there was a genre of show about a young man wanting to get stronger.
Wait, did he actually?
He tweeted that shit out. It was really funny. I wanted to find the tweet, but it was hard. I saw it years ago. So usually in a shonen, not always, usually you have boy protagonists. It's filled with all kinds of tropes, as is like any media, right? Some examples of these tropes, you got the power of friendship. With our friends we can conquer anything. Talk no jutsu, that isn't specifically named from Naruto. It's when, it's interesting because you have this, genre that's mostly filled with people like battling and stuff, and at the end of the day conflicts are resolved by talking, where violence or power could not resolve it. And can I moderate on yeah, ban, get out of here. Reason, I don't need any. I'm a savage, that's why.
You are merely a murderer.
I am. The Chosen One, that's a big one. It's like, oh, like this boy has the power of the dragon or something like that. Like that's a very common trope in shonen. You see it in Inuyasha, you see it in Bleach, you see it in not really Yu Yu Hakusho necessarily. Dragon Ball, Naruto, like a lot of those, like the main character has something that gives them an edge on everybody else, right?
That kid's got the power of Detroit.
Doom, you did not just find that tweet live, did you?
Doom is really good at finding really
Holy
obscure
shit.
fucking tweets. I have learned.
Can you check chat and tell me if that's it? I'm
No,
out
it
of
is.
screens. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So in the words of Robbie Damon, can anyone recommend a good anime where the protagonist just wants to get stronger? Is the exact tweet,
Fantastic.
and I have retweeted it because I wish to steal Robbie Damon's skin and become him in like 2 years.
Interesting.
But that's a topic for another day.
That's probably maybe that's gonna be Wednesday's bit. But what else? I think Max Middleman got in there too, and they were like talking about it. It was very funny. Anyways, so those are some tropes in shonen. Let's talk about shoujo. Shoujo that's usually stuff for girls. For girls, I put in quotes. Often focused on romance, but not always. Usually female protags, but not always. There's a lot of tropes in shoujo as well. And I put four girls and 4 boys in quotes because like there are definitely like shoujo manga or shoujo anime and that I enjoy, and I know that there are a lot of girls who like shonen anime. Wow, man. So,
I will say right now, Gekon Shoujo Nozaki-kun barely belongs on this list.
and that's so ironic, isn't it?
It's so funny
But
that like it is a show about shoujo manga, and yet it almost barely revolves around the tropes of shoujo manga.
I'm really interested in hearing you talk more about this when we get to the rom-com slide.
Oh, I love this show so fucking much. I'm excited.
So, there are many. I am really curious about that. There are many tropes. There's the ex-girlfriend shows up. There's a bloom. A lot of times in shoujo manga, like there'll be like a heartthrob guy comes in, and then like this wallpaper of roses explodes behind him. The wall slam, also known as the kabedan, if you are a weeb, which is a term we will define later. And stuff like that. What else do we have? Oh, there it is again! You son of a bitch! Inuyasha, you bastard! Inuyasha is both a shonen and a shoujo anime. It is unusual that something is both, but it can absolutely happen. If you have watched Inuyasha, I dare you to look me dead in the eyes and tell me that it is not a shoujo show. There is so much drama between Inuyasha and his ex-girlfriend and the main character Kagome, and like so much like romance slice of life stuff that they like thread in the middle of like the most convoluted like shonen arcs you've ever seen. It is both. What the hell? Oh my god, Inuyasha. The grip that this show had on women my age, like growing up, is unbelievable. I definitely know girls who are like, yes, I am a witch, and my special crystal is the Shikon Jewel from Inuyasha. Did Yashahime, at the very least, decent? I don't know. Cherry Blossom's whole shebang. Anyways, moving on. Then we have seinen and josei. I kind of put these two in one slide because in general, it's for young men and women, and as I kind of pointed out, like, these are really loose. Like, I don't think, like, if you're a guy who reads, like, shoujo manga, like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, what's wrong with you? I think. Not any more than they would normally if you're reading manga. This is seinen and josei are defined by being a little more mature or edgy than shonen and shoujo. There is a little bit of overlap. They blur a little bit. But the big thing here is like these are the things it's supposed to be for specifically like people around the ages of 18 to 40. So they say young men and women, but like by the time I'm 40 years old, am I really a young man? Maybe
you're young at heart. That's
Maybe
what matters.
But these are the kinds of things that, like, I wouldn't show my little cousins. By the way, I have a huge family. The other day I counted, I have 48 relatives on one side and 24 on the other. So I wouldn't show, for example, Fate Zero. I would not show to my 11-year-old cousin, right? I wouldn't show Monster to my 11-year-old. I wouldn't show, Heaven's Feel on the bottom right there to my youngest cousin because, or even, I mean, a lot of people actually. Heaven's Feel is upsetting, but it's really good.
You would show them Erased, though, right?
I think I could. I think Erased is honestly a pretty palatable anime, even if you are somewhat new to the genre. It's pretty devoid of like annoying tropes and whatever.
It also has Asian Kung Fu Generation.
It does. It does. It absolutely does. So yeah. What else do we have? Isekai. Okay, Isekai is what are you laughing at?
I saw Digimon, and it took me aback. Took me aback for a second.
Where's the lie? Where's the
It's
lie?
not a lie. It's just okay. So here's the thing: you have all of these examples. You have Restaurant in Another World. You have Mushoku Tensei. You have Shield Hero. All of these shows have a very particular aesthetic. I think the only other one that kind of bars that is No Game No Life. Because No Game No Life borrows so heavily from almost this like very modern, almost futuristic aesthetic, despite it being high fantasy. And then I just see Digimon just being fucking there. But I'm gonna let you get back to your show.
You bring up an excellent point because a lot of times, like modern isekai is usually like you have high fantasy worlds with video gaming attributes or rules. Shield Hero is very, very guilty of this.
Oh yeah, as
Slime
someone who's read the
isekai.
fucking novels, yes.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. If that's the kind of thing like that makes you, maybe you have a hard time like getting behind that. Understandable. Have a nice day. But you know that's just something to look out for. A lot of times in isekai, a protagonist will die and reincarnate into another world. That's where we have slime isekai. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level on the bottom right, also known as Slime Taoshite. I think Mushoku Tensei fits in that box. I don't know. I haven't watched
I
it.
believe so. I can't remember. I just love how slime has become its own genre at this point.
It really has, and honestly, I looked up. I don't think slime is an original D&D monster. I think it's like a Dragon Quest monster. I think it pretty much predates Dragon Quest slimes predate D&D slimes, I believe.
I do not know. I know that Final Fantasy directly rips off a lot of its monsters from old D&D handbooks, and I don't remember what came first and where, so this is where my lack of history knowledge would have to be made up for by various Wikipedia articles.
Yeah. So, those are all examples of isekai. And God fucking damn it. What do you know? Inuyasha's got another genre covered, god damn it. In Inuyasha, for those of you who don't know, Kagome, the girl who is definitely the main character, but not on the fucking cover here twice, wherever the thing is relative to me, she is the main character, and she comes from arguably modern Japan. I say modern, but at this point it was 20 years ago. That's where she's from, and she falls into a well that brings her to like mythical feudal Japan. Yeah, it's not. Where's the lie? And other things. By the way, one of my favorite anime, Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonie moved to a starter town, is not technically an isekai. It just feels like it because of the overlap of like high fantasy worlds and like video gamey stuff. But it's not technically an isekai because it's not going to another world, which is literally what isekai means, right? Okay, here we are at rom-com. So rom-coms, romantic, comedy, and I put the air quotes in there because have you guys ever watched Toradora? Have you watched Toradora and laughed? I haven't.
Yes.
I'm a terrible person. I'm not trying to say anybody's taste bad because I know in particular also like Doom really likes Toradora. I had a hard time stomaching that show a little bit. The category that I've watched all of these. So have I actually. Romantic sometimes, comedy. They're kind of like what we have in the West, except I like them in general. I've liked most of them that I've watched, at least more than not. And then why, right? What's the difference between like anime rom-coms and like, I don't know, like, what do we call them? American rom-coms? I feel like American
Lack of Adam
rom-coms-
Sandler for one.
So
However, I am still waiting for the American adaptation of Golden Time with Adam Sandler as Tadabanri. Are you okay, Shane?
I am like processing. I'm terrified. So, let me give you an example. So, when I was very young, when I was in 8th grade, I had my first girlfriend ever, and she was obsessed with this one rom-com called The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and, what's his face? Deadpool. Ryan, no.
Oh my god, I know
Why
his
can't we
fucking
remember
name.
this right now?
Hang on.
Van Wilder, right? So that would be Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yes.
So, we've got The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. This girl, this 14-year-old young woman, saw this movie in theaters. She brought 10 of her friends on separate occasions, right? She saw this movie 10 times in theaters. That had to be at least $100 in tickets. And then also, like, probably got popcorn every time. And here's the thing with me, like, I don't think The Proposal is that good. So what is it about this stuff that makes me like it more than The Proposal, which is also, by all means, a rom-com, right? Honestly, shut up! All right? I like this shit. I don't know, so I don't know if rom-coms in Japan, or I guess specifically in anime, are meant to kind of appeal, maybe be a little bit more wish fulfillment or something. But I personally like watching these, and I don't know if like what it really looks like. Oh, like these are really meant to appeal to women, or these are really meant to appeal to men, or a little bit of both. I think Kaguya-sama is very, very good. Everybody should watch it if they could possibly stomach anything romantic or comedy. I think that there's kind of this criticism of like rom-coms. They call them bitchless shows because there's a lot of stuff where it's just like kind of a shy, like self-insert guy, like in Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Let me ask you guys a question. For those of you who have seen Nagatoro, what's the main character's name? Not Nagatoro, the guy. You don't know, do you? I know, because I looked it up. But the point is, I think that there's, you know, kind of this idea. It's like you get these really kind of lively girls that come into this guy's life and enrich it. I don't know if I'm falling for that trap or if I just think it's really endearing. I genuinely think that there are things in these shows listed on the right that make them very enjoyable and a lot to think about. Paisen.
Oh my god. So if I may interject here for kind of a second.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think there is very much something about Japanese rom-coms where on one hand you can look at them from a very pessimistic lens and be like, yeah, no, this is fucking wish fulfillment. You're going back in high school and you're living through those days of, oh man, I wish I'd gotten a girlfriend. I wish I'd had that mystical high school romance. And I think that is the most like dejected, pessimistic way that you can look at these shows, when in reality, I think it's just one of those things where, one, a lot of these shows, many a time, excluding stuff like Golden Time, arguably also World Domination and Nozaki-kun, where most of these shows are literally aimed at fucking, like, teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Teenagers fall in love too, right? Also, we all used to be fucking teenagers at one point. So you have
come up later too.
Yeah, so you have a place where you can like have the reference of what these shows are supposed to be telling you. And like I legitimately think that there's a lot of good that comes out of a lot of these shows. Like I see people talking shit on the timeline about My Dress Up Darling, and I'm over here like that is one of the most sincere shows about loving a hobby that I have ever seen. So suck my nuts, Twitter idiots.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Suck his nuts. I genuinely think Dress Up Darling, I think it got a lot of flack because like, oh my god, like this character, she's such a thirst trap, and also she's, you know, like, you know, whatever, 17. It's like, okay, like, but some of the people that are watching are like 15, and it's like, what, did you not experience attraction until you were 18? I don't know. Like, I don't want to get in like complicated whatever, but also like you said, Dress Up Darling is a very sincere show about one loving a hobby, and I think there's also definitely some moments in it that like where it uses silence like no other like show like of any kind that I've ever seen has used to like build tension, and like it felt like so incredibly intimate. Anyways, that's a great show. Can you give me why do you think Nozaki-kun barely qualifies for rom-com or shoujo?
Okay, I think it qualifies for rom-com 100%. I feel like shoujo manga, it's like visually, it is a shoujo manga in terms of its style. However, it plays with that super hard, focusing a lot more on the comedy aspect of it.
Okay.
And like it leans way more into the comedy aspect of romantic comedy.
That's
to the
fair.
point where I feel weird calling it a shoujo manga, despite the fact that it is at heart a shoujo manga.
It's a shoujo manga about shoujo manga making.
Yes, and I absolutely adore it. It is easily one of my favorite shows. The use of color in that show, the use of like just compositing and such in the OP. The OP itself
slaps for
is
sure.
so fucking good. I could talk about this show for hours.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a good point. it feels like it is definitely more focused on of kind of like teasing the tropes of shoujo manga than it is of performing them itself. So yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say Kaguya qualifies as shoujo either, except the one episode where they make fun of it. God,
I mean,
what
it's in Shonen Jump.
it's so good though. Literally, like right now, I
so
believe it's
good.
still the highest rated anime on my anime list, and it's so earned.
Oh wait, are you telling me
God
the full?
damn it! Not again! We can't get away from it. They can't keep getting away with this.
I mean, you have this on screen, and at any minute, I expect to see Ranma and the motherfucker from Urusei Yatsura just showing up out of nowhere, combining their powers for Rumiko Takahashi supremacy.
Inuyasha might as well be a rom-com with all the silly stuff it does. It's so long, and there's definitely some moments in there that are just meant to be very silly. Okay, here we go. Magical
You
Girl.
motherfucker! Of course you would! Of course you would!
I mean, it's natural. It's natural, right? Wait, you know what the best part is? I assume you're talking about Reen.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're
I'm
not
talking about
seeing what's in the
Rin.
bottom right corner.
No, I see it. I don't think you're wrong. Trust
So-
me.
Let's
I
talk
didn't
about
bat an
Magical
eye.
Girl, right? Magical Girl is maybe a subgenre of shoujo. Not necessarily. I don't think Madoka Magica counts as shoujo. I don't know that Utena does either. I don't think Kill la Kill does either. So maybe sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Magical Girl usually features young girls that fight for some ideal with magical powers. In Sailor Moon, they fight for love and justice. I think Sailor Moon is like the quintessential magical girl show, right? Hello, Kat. Wow, you are Kat. We are barely scratching the surface. You are just in time. We're talking about magical girls. I forgot Precure. That's my bad. I think I had it in at one point and then I missed it. We've got Tokyo Mew Mew, Cardcaptor Sakura, Madoka Magica, Kaleido Reen, from. I actually don't know what that renders. Is that a Hollow Ataraxia render?
I think that's Hollow Ataraxia, but
Okay,
I am not sure. No,
Revolutionary
not
Girl
certain.
Utena, which also I guess qualifies for, ironically, is also I think kind of like seinen. But yeah, so what else? There's a transformation sequence, mandatory? Question mark. I'm trying to think if there are magical girl shows without transformation sequences. Do any of the ones listed not have them? I didn't remember if Madoka had them or not.
Madoka definitely has them, although you very rarely tend to see them because it is usually not the point. I remember there being the point where you see Mommy's transformation sequence. You're like, wow, that's really cool.
And
And,
then that
it's
was the
just,
only one you
oh,
see.
decapitation.
Yeah, don't worry about what he's talking about. I just know Inuyasha's gonna show up sometime. I will say, I think that was the last time I put it in. So yeah, that's Magical Girl. It's a very popular genre. I think what people like about it. You know what's actually, now that I think about it, I'm trying to think who like the audience is, because I feel like on one hand it's like young girls because like yay, like girls like getting out there and kicking butt and stuff, and at the same time I also feel like it's like really sweaty like 40-year-old salarymen.
All right, so let me hit you with this, okay?
Hit me,
Because you were
hit me.
kind of confused earlier.
Okay.
You're like, is this a subgenre of shoujo?
Mhm.
You're wrong. It is the love child of shoujo and shonen. It
That
takes
is
a
a great
lot
point.
of the action elements that you would expect from a shonen show, but puts them through the lens of a more feminine perspective a lot
Yeah.
of the time.
Hence Kill la Kill.
Yeah, hence Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill is literally taking the lens of shoujo anime or magical girl anime
Uh-huh.
and then shifting it to a more shonen-esque presentation. So it's like the reversal of the reversal.
Absolutely. It's a deconstruction of a deconstruction wrapped in an enigma. Slayer says, like ever since Madoka Magical Girl's gotten darker a little bit, because you
Watch
can only...
Precure.
Huh?
No, literally, I don't even think that magical girl shows have gotten darker
Mhm.
as much as it is you just don't see the other magical girl shows that are being made
Uh-huh.
because a lot of the time they're made for kids and they're
Yeah.
not the shows that our age group is
True.
talking about.
True. But yeah, in the 1990s there were exactly 2 anime. There was Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. All right, here we are, Slice of Life. I've actually watched most of these, a little bit. So slice of life is a genre that often is low stakes plots observing the daily life of characters. So it's just, like day in, day out, not usually like a big quest or anything they need to go on. That's not to say that the characters don't grow or there's no like arcs or anything. It's just that there's not typically like, oh, I have to go avenge my father, we have to save the world or anything like that. It's just normal daily life shit. It's frequently wholesome. There's two kinds of slice of life. There's, nothing ever happens. Like, I'm not worried. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to watch my favorite slice of life show. And then there's, nothing ever happens. One of these on this list, I will say, hits that second box for me. You know what? I thought about it. Is Violet Evergarden really a slice of life?
I feel Violet Evergarden, from what I've seen of it, is more of like a melodrama.
Maybe.
Like
Violet Evergarden is this is my second favorite anime of all time.
Yes.
Violet Evergarden is a show about a young woman who was a child soldier, frankly, trying to adapt to a post-war world, and figure out how to express emotions when they were basically auxiliary and unnecessary to be a soldier. Yes, Violet Evergarden. I've seen Dragon Maid, but I don't really want to rewatch it because of some of the controversies. To be honest, I like Dragon Maid. I thought it was very fun. I thought the animation was incredible. I think there's a lot of heart in the show. I think that there's also a lot of boobs in the show. So if that's kind of a deal breaker for you, understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah, no, basically.
But yeah, I think that's a good point that it could be a melodrama. I didn't really think of that as a genre. Restaurant to Another World is also interesting. I just watched this. This is actually the most recent anime I've watched and finished. But it's a cooking anime that is also an isekai that is also a slice of life. There's no major arcs going on or anything. It's just like every episode, it's a little window into like one of the characters of the other world, and they'll like talk about how delicious like a pork stew is or something. It's like I watched it when I was sick, and literally I would rather watch nothing else. So very good. What else do we have here? We got Dragon Maid, Laid Back Camp, K-On! Don't Worry What That Tiny Text Says, Violet Evergarden, Restaurant to Another World, and that last one is Horimiya. Horimiya is it is a slice of life. Can you read it?
I can read it.
Oh, no.
I was going to hold back on saying something, but you know what? You have that text there. I'm going off. Why is it that those top 3 shows? Why is it anytime I see someone with a profile picture from any of those shows on Twitter, it's Russian roulette of someone who either likes cute shows or they're a fucking Nazi. There's no in between.
I don't know.
I'm good.
So the bottom, that is Horimiya. And again, genres can, like, we've seen Inuyasha, Little Bastard. I'm honestly afraid I'm going to hit the fucking arrow key, and it's going to be Inuyasha's going to pop up again. I don't remember. Yo, what's up, yo? We were just talking about one of your favorite shows, Horimiya. Horimiya is a slice of life. I wouldn't even say it's a rom-com. It's like just a romance anime, right?
I don't know. I've never seen Horimiya, despite the fact that I have used a lot of reaction images from it.
That's very funny. But it's a sweet little anime. It was a very long running like webcomic or like into a manga, but it's only a 12 episode anime, and it's a very kind of similar to Dress Up Darling. Like it makes me remember things from like when I was like a young man. I guess I still am a young man, but when I was like a teenager, like having my first like relationship and stuff. And it was really kind of heartwarming that way. All right, we dodged it. Okay, so Battle Shonen. Everything to the right again. People getting strong and beating the shit out of each other. Probably, arguably, the most well-trodden genre, or at least it seems that way to me. That might just be that that's what they decided to localize. That was a lot of what was on Toonami when I was a kid. Here we go, baby. Non-battle battle shonen. One of the best fucking genres. Sorry, that was really slow. Is there anything... I feel like we kind of already covered this mostly with the shonen slide.
I mean, the only thing I can say is it is relatively well trodden. I can't think of anything off the bat that has been more explored at this very moment. But I also do want to say that ever since kind of like this big Shonen Jump renaissance, I feel, we've been getting a lot more non-traditional shows showing up in what was previously very battle-centric, heavy like publications showing up. So it's
So
like
you mean things like Kaguya being in Shonen Jump?
things like Kaguya, things like Haikyuu, things
Is
like
Chainsaw Man published in Shonen Jump?
Chainsaw Man was published in Shonen Jump, but then got moved over to Jump Plus, so that way the artist would not have to like hit fucking
Mhm.
weekly chapters.
Yeah.
And now he can actually take breaks.
Good for I love
Oh,
that
but then
part.
like Spy Family, exactly. That's another good
Spy
example.
Family was in Shonen Jump.
Yes, it is in Jump Plus, the same
Got it.
service that Chainsaw Man is in.
Got it. So yeah, that's some good points. Non-battle shonen. This is not battle shonen, but goddamn, it sure feels like it. Often exaggerated conflicts made to appear like shonen fights, but they are not actual fights. Usually exquisite, often sports. So here we have a couple of examples of this. We've got Kaguya-sama. This is... If you have one takeaway from this, watch Kaguya-sama. It's good, okay? It's just good.
Really good.
It is literally, it's Death Note if Death Note were funny and about like caving first. It's exquisite. Death Note is funny in its own way, but mostly that we kind of like, we think it's funny in hindsight. It's very easy to parody and stuff. I saw somebody say Your Lie in April is a non-battle shonen, or maybe they were just saying it's a non-battle shonen. I don't know.
I think that person might be capping.
They might be capping, but it's one of my favorite shows. It's like top 5 for me, so I put it in there anyways, just so we know it exists.
Understandable.
We've got Shokugeki no Soma Food Wars in the bottom center. That is a show where it feels exactly like a shonen, except that it's all about them competing in like food competitions. Hot take: Death Note is the worst of the shows in the slide. What do you think? I haven't seen Haikyuu.
Haikyuu is like maybe peak fiction.
Maybe
I would say Death Note is arguably better than Shokugeki no Soma, if only because Shokugeki no Soma runs into some really fucked pacing issues that I really, really don't like. And while Death Note kind of runs into weird pacing issues, to me, I still think that part of the plot is still interesting.
I think so. I have not seen. I stopped watching Death Note after a particular scene. I'm sure you can guess which one, because I was just like, man, I'm out. But Shokugeki, I do agree that there are some times where it's cooking, like literally, and it's like going like man, like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens next. And there are a little bit of lulls in there, but overall, I think Shokugeki is actually an incredibly well-written show, which makes it unfortunate that most people will probably stay away from it because of how incredibly horny it is, and we'll get to that later.
A little bit.
Mecha! Big goddamn robots, frequently features complex political plots, interestingly enough. Gundam saved anime. Let me tell you guys a quick story. Gundam, so okay, let's say it's the 1970s, right? And Star Wars just came out, and it's literally so fucking cool. And you know what's not cool? Anime. Anime is like whatever. Like most people don't give a fuck about it. And then Star Wars came out, and they're like, oh man, like Japan loves Star Wars, from what I've read. I wasn't there at the time. And they're like, man, where can we get more of this? And then fucking Gundam, right? Was it 76 or something? And they're like, this is like, it's like Star Wars. We can get more of this. So like people started consuming the shit out of Gundam because it was the closest thing they had. And that kind of like interest showed people like, hey, there's good stuff. Like we can tell like good stories, and we can make like a bunch of money from making these animated shows.
So real quick, I actually have to interject because it
Please.
was definitely not that simple.
Okay, go ahead.
So, it is correct that Gundam did give kind of an upsurge in anime. However, it was one of those things where Gundam came out at a very weird time where the anime that you saw was mostly for kids. You had stuff like Mazinger, you had a lot of these really fancy, colorful robot shows
Yes.
that were made specifically for selling toys.
Yes.
Gundam happens, spearheaded by Tomino, and he's like, okay, I want to make a show that is more focused on war is bad. You know, you've seen the image of the robot shooting the beam of war is bad. Wow, cool robot. Everyone's seen that.
Yes.
His whole shtick was he was wanting to parallel a lot of what was seen in World War II of people having to be forced into a war that they did not ask for and having to deal with the terrors of war.
Yes.
It bombed. It sucked. Like,
Mhm.
everyone hated it, and it got canceled like 20 episodes early.
Uh-huh.
And like, it was going to go down in history as just this forgotten piece of media until the people at Bondi were like, hey, we can't really market this to kids. How about we make military models? And so they took the Gundam, the mechs,
Mhm.
and they made them into these, like, military-style model kits that you would have to use with, like, glue and whatnot, and you would have to paint them. These motherfuckers flew off the shelves, and it revitalized and restructured the way that Japan thought about the mecha genre, and it opened up so many different avenues of storytelling while simultaneously showing that a lot of these shows could be made for people that weren't just kids. So that's a little more in depth about like
No,
how
that's a great
how Gundam
anecdote, because
expanded it.
I did
Yeah.
not know about that, but that is every piece of that is very interesting.
Yes.
The only thing that saved it was Bandai getting toy rights and making model kits. Capitalism,
Basically.
baby.
Oh wait a minute! Why the fuck is Attack on Titan here?
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? The only thing that makes Attack on Titan not mecha is that they're made of meat.
Oh god, meat mecha. I mean, that's also Evangelion, so I guess I can't say anything.
There you go. Oh my god.
Feliz jueves.
Oh yeah, that's true, Kojak. That is true. A bunch of women wrote into the producers for it to not get canceled.
Fuck yeah, dude. We love it.
And
We
then
love
that led
see
to
women represented.
Gundam being made into 3 movies,
Uh-huh.
where they ended up reanimating the entire last third of the show.
Yeah.
Gundam's really cool. I'm sorry, you got me on like the one show that I can speak about novel length worth of text.
There are a couple of shows on here that I told somebody like the other day, I'm like, if like zero preparation, I could take up an hour time on this. Yo, what's the line reading? I can't see where I'm at. Attack on Titan is not a mecha, and I'm delusional. Just kidding. There's the line read for you. All right, what else we got? I really don't watch a lot of this, so I'm glad you were here to kind of go on this. I watched a single episode of Darling in the Franxx, or Darling in the Franxx, as I call it, because I think it's silly. And I was like, nah, it's okay. I watched G Gundam when I was a kid, though. I think I had a Shining Gundam toy when I was a kid. And it was like my favorite toy. I was in like 1st grade.
I'm about to school you in mecha one day, and
Yeah.
like it's gonna be over. Like you are going to have your third eye open, and you will turn into Tien Shinhan, the world's strongest human, but for giant robots.
Fantastic. Didn't know Code Geass was mecha, but I've never seen it. Yeah, it's crazy. It is kind of a mecha show, but like it is again like it's just so political, right? Like there are big robots in it, but like the big robots aren't the point usually.
It's funny because
Evangelion-
it didn't start as a mecha.
yeah, probably.
In the anime, they actually had the mechs. In the manga, the mechs were not a thing
At all. That's
at all.
very
They
funny,
added them
because
in
that's how almost all of
specifically
the
for the
battle scenes
anime.
go.
Yes.
Doom, I've watched like 4 mecha, 5 with AOT. Gurren Lagann, I didn't finish because we got to the time skip. My brother's like, no, it's no fun. It like spoils a big thing, and then we just never finished it. We were watching on spring break or something in college. But yeah, I did watch all of Code Geass. I think Code Geass makes like, so I'm not a big fan of the art style of Code Geass, but I will fuck Attack on Titan. How's that? Code Geass brainwashes you into thinking mechas are peak. Shut up, yo.
Mecha is peak though. I could
can't
go
defend you
on a
for this, man.
limb about how Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is one of the greatest pieces of media ever made because the entire show goes down the timeline of the mecha genre in real life, starting off as something really cool and colorful and toyetic, going into something that's super duper serious and political, and then at the end, going into something balls to the wall, going back to its original roots, having a blend of both, and how it is literally one of the coolest things ever fucking made.
Goku solos any mecha, I'm literally gonna ban you. So recently,
Goku can
for
suck my
context, Byosuke in chat, for context, recently watched Dragon Ball, and now he's like that annoying Dragon Ball fan. So,
Oh no.
Anyways, so that is it for the genre portion. Let's talk about some common hangups. And this isn't a very long section, but there's some things I want to cover. So common hangups in anime, things that I hear a lot, reasons people don't want to watch, or reasons that people think you're weird for watching it. Here's one.
Why are they all teenagers? I just don't.
And, you kind of already touched this, Mr. Muffler Man. Professor Muffler Man, I should say. How many pairs of glasses are you wearing right now?
At the moment, 2.
Okay. So you kind of touched on it already. It's like, why are they all teenagers? That's weird. That's unrelated. Was that what? You were never a teenager? Like, if you're a kid, you look up to teenagers. If you're older, you remember being a teenager, right? I don't think that's that big of a deal. And I just, like, I've heard people say, like, oh, they're all in high school. That's really unrelatable to me. Blah, blah, blah. So and so and such. And so here's an example of some of the shows they complain about. Oh, wait a minute. No. These are all just normal fucking shows and movies and works of literature that predominantly feature teenagers. It's almost like teenagers are a common thing to write about because it's such a pivotal point in many people's lives. We literally have things as recently as, I don't know, young adult dystopia, whatever, from 2012, and goes all the way the fuck back to Shakespeare with Romeo and Juliet. Romeo was 13, Romeo was 16, Juliet was 13.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking around, Slayer. So yeah, that's kind of my defense to that. I think we've all been teenagers. If you're younger, you kind of look up to teenagers. You're like, that's where life begins. If you're older, you can hopefully reflect on what your time was like as a teenager. I think it's a very common thing to write about because, like, it's such a pivotal moment in so many people's lives. Juliet a victim. Yeah, dude. Why is it so horny? Why is anime so horny? What is this shit? We've got. I think that's High School DxD. That's a show you and I won't watch. I think that's the Konosuba movie. And then, of course, Darling in the Franxx again, because it's so funny. I think, like, Darling in the Franxx is meant to be the counterbalance to how gay every other Trigger show is. And they really got it all in one.
I mean, to be fair, Trigger literally jumped ship after the first, like, I think 8 episodes.
And
They
then A1
wrote-
took over?
Yeah, and then A1 took over everything else. Because Trigger was like, we're bored. We got some other stuff to work on. You can do this, right? We'll see you later.
That's
and
insane. That's insane.
Yeah, no. Like, there's a reason why that show is a mismanaged mess. Because it was a mismanaged mess!
There you go. Shinzo Abe's mecha series. Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Anyways, why is anime so horny? This is normal. I think, it could be the case that, people are horny all over the world, right? And also, if it bothers you, you don't have to watch it. But, I mean, come on. Like, Quentin Tarantino, anything that he's made with feet, I am never, ever going to forgive this world for making Violet Evergarden considered weird for being anime, and then you go to work on Monday, and everybody's talking about how, like, these twins literally banged on HBO the night before. Like, it's fucking normal conversation, okay? Also, like, people are horny. There's Megan Fox and Transformers. 50 Shades of Grey is a movie that exists. People are horny all over the world. And
But
if it's too
Aqua
much
from Konosuba is funny.
that's true. I think Konosuba is very funny. It is also pretty horny.
Yeah.
I don't think, actually, we're going to get to a point on this later. But yeah, people are horny all over the world. Everybody's been a teenager or can look up to a teenager. What else we got? It's just so weird. These are things people complain about. There's all this anime time travel bullshit. Oh, this magic and stuff is too much for me. So what? They're all like superheroes or something? It's just so gross and weird.
God fucking damn it.
So,
I knew where this was going.
Shut up. This is Violet Evergarden. This is a show about grief and loss and being able to find a new life when you think that you have nothing left. And then there's Game of Thrones, which is a game or a movie or show. I don't fucking whatever. Okay.
Book.
I really don't like if you're like, okay, I don't like any time, like if you look at me and you're like, oh, Avengers Endgame was peak fiction, but I would never watch, I don't know, like Your Name, like shut up, okay? Like you're being dumb. But if to be fair, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't like Avengers Endgame either, understandable, have a nice day. And the good news is there's all kinds of anime out there that might appeal to you that doesn't have those kinds of things, right? None of this stuff is like something that exists in every anime. I genuinely think that there's a show out there for everybody. So those are kind of here we are, the weeb ass shit scale. The weeb ass shit scale is a scale on rating anime invented by some person on Tumblr, where you rate it on how weeby it is, meaning how much do you need to know about Japanese culture to really enjoy it? The ass scale is how fan servicey is it, and the shit scale is how bad is it. So 10 is bad, 0 is peak fiction. Bio says Euphoria is okay, but if they're cartoons, it's bad. Wait, isn't Euphoria like a death game VN?
Yes.
All right, we're not talking about that one, I assume.
We're not gonna talk about that
Let's
because
not
it's
talk about that one.
gross.
Yeah. So anyways, like I just kind of told you guys. So here's a couple of my ratings. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is currently my favorite anime. You barely need to know anything about Japan to really enjoy it. There's just like some cultural stuff, like the food they cook and stuff, and the way they like prepare breakfast and whatever, and some school stuff. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You can not really know about it and have a good time. A little bit of fan service, really not a lot in my opinion. Mostly just Reen's thighs, and for that we are blessed. And then, like, it's a little bit of a buy-in, which is why it's not peaked, like, 0 at the beginning. What else we got? Oh, we're talking about a different one.
Okay, no, we're good.
We're good. Violet Evergarden, if you're aware that Japan exists, that's probably enough. You don't really need to know anything about it. It takes place in a distinctly, like, European world. It is a fantasy world, but whatever. And then fan service, I don't know. My brother's like, there's a girl with big titties in it. I'm like, yeah, we have those in real life too, but whatever. And then this is pretty much peak fiction. The Zendaya Euphoria or whatever. Okay. And then Food Wars. Food Wars, there's a little bit of weeby shit in it, a little bit about Japan and stuff, particularly because there's a lot about Japanese cooking in it. 8, there's a lot of booty. There is a lot of booty in Food Wars, but honestly, by the time you get to like episode 3, like you're just so invested in the food. Well, I should speak for myself. And then honestly, this shit's good as hell. So are these? I mean, I don't know. These are my ratings, but that's just like a way you can rate it. So the important thing about this scale is like if you have a friend who has like a hang up, like, oh, this is weird. It's so like I don't understand Japanese culture and stuff. Like maybe don't suggest something to them. Like, hey Doom, what's the one that with the girl who's like got the umbrella club or whatever? I don't remember.
Oh fuck, I know the show you're talking about too. I feel so stupid.
I'd never watched it, but Doom put in a request and I drew Tinkaton as a character from that show. I don't remember what it's called.
I keep forgetting the name of it because I know exactly the show that you're. Yeah, fucking Hanayamata.
Yeah, there we go.
See, when I was thinking of this scale and something you wouldn't recommend, I was thinking fucking Bakemonogatari, which would be like an 8, a 7, and a 0.
0 meaning peak fiction, or
peak
0
fiction?
Meaning...
Peak fucking fiction.
Okay, there you go.
But it is fucking impenetrable to like your normal.
The buy-in
person.
is so steep, but it's so fucking good.
Yeah, the buy-in steep as fuck, but it's peak fucking fiction.
There you go. So there you go. There's the Weebash shit scale. That might help you if you're trying to convince somebody to try something out or find a recommendation for them. It's a good place to kind of evaluate things. All right, so now we've some terminology. These are things that people that kind of in the community or things that you might hear people talk about in shows. Let's start with what exactly even is a weeb, right? According to there's kind of a couple of definitions here. The old definition, the kind of like origin of the definition is a non-Japanese person, stereotypically an unsociable white male who is overly infatuated with Japanese culture. That's a little outdated now, I think. I don't see people really use that as the primary definition anymore. The more colloquial definition is a person who is obsessively interested in anime and or manga And I still think that misses the mark just a little bit. So Shane's definition: somebody who likes a variety of anime or anime-styled media, such as video games, visual novels, manga, etc. So we've got a couple examples on the bottom. We've got Unlimited Blade Works is an anime that's based on a visual novel. Persona 5 Royal is an anime RPG. AI the Somnium Files is an anime visual-styled visual novel. Chainsaw Man, of course, is just a manga. What are your thoughts on this definition, Mr. Mufflerman? Professor Mufflerman, my apologies.
So I have sent you an image describing what I like to see as the stereotypical weeb in your Discord, and you may choose to pull that up or not.
Okay, all right, I could take a hint. Let's see here. Let's move over to Discord. Let me read this before I put it on screen. Yep, that's the classic. All right, hold on. This guy. This is the opposite of Rawhide Kobayashi.
Yeah, this is Rawhide Kobayashi Alter.
While you were doing drugs, I studied the blade. While you were engaged in premarital sex, I practiced the blade. While you spent months at the gym for the sake of vanity, I used the blade. Now that the demons are here, you're all unprepared, except for me, for I studied the blade. Fantastic.
Yeah, Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. Like, that's what I always think of when I think of a weeb.
Yeah.
Either that or someone who is incredibly... It's like there's a scale of people that are really into Japanese culture and are unaware versus people that are really into Japanese culture and refuse to become aware of, like, what it actually is, essentially.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Something else I think is worth noting, is that a lot of people kind of think like, oh, all of Japan is like anime. Don't think that. Do not ever think that. Japan is a vast country with a lot of different, like a rich culture, like any country. And if you are going anywhere that's not Tokyo or in particular Akihabara, you are going to be shocked. I know a lot of people go to Japan for like, oh yeah, like I really want to go because I love anime. It's like, that's cool and stuff, but the country is a lot more than that. If you go to Akihabara though, you'll probably have a good time.
Speaking of more than that, I need you to move the Discord stuff because I can no longer see the PowerPoint.
I got you.
I am still
I am
seeing
literally-
Rawhide Kobayashi Alter. Hi, Ari, thank you, gozaimasu.
Sorry, Vasan. What is it that funny to you? I just like her, okay?
Look, I am not laughing because it's Rin. I am laughing because I happen to adore this trope.
I am mixed on this trope. I like Reen because she is the absolution of it, but there are characters that I see that are supposed to be tsunderes that are dog shit. Anyways, ramen, hold on. Fortnite. Otaku ramen and its weeb theme, but actually really tasty. It won't help you get women, but it's very tasty.
It won't help you block this mix-up, but it's quite delicious.
Honest mids.
Honest Mids Michael and his incel dating service.
There you go. I would like to try it. What's up, Doom? You look like you have something to say.
I fear.
I have no idea what the delay on this stream is. What's a tsundere, anyways?
What is a tsundere?
Taiga. I'm gonna be honest with you, Doom. Taiga's a dog shit tsundere. She's just mean.
I fucking love Taiga.
Sorry. Somebody else's definition: a person or character who swings between emotionally hot and cold, in particular when dealing with a love interest. Shane's definition: it's a nuanced topic. Who gets the hot and cold treatment? Typically, it can be a love interest. It can be a family member. You will see characters sometimes like Mizuki AI or I the Somnium Files, who has a hard time truthfully expressing her emotions because of a fear of being vulnerable. What else do we have here? Okay, here we go. I think that's the last thing on the slide. Okay, so I think that I think that it is probably most true for the trope to say it's particularly when dealing with the love interest, because not everybody, like not every character who has like tsundere tendencies, and people for that matter, like this is not like an anime exclusive thing. This is like something people can be in real life that just anime observes a lot. You have to watch a different Toradora. Sorry. But the hot and cold treatment can be anybody who's close to them, honestly. You won't typically see people who they don't like them just like whatever. The reason is typically because if they show they're afraid of being vulnerable, which is what I think can make a lot of tsunderes like really relatable, is the fear of either rejection or the fear of like admitting they care about somebody and then losing them or something. And I think that's when they're at their best. Those are the things that are usually at the core of it. Obviously we have Rin here. Rin is like, she's a lot of times like tsundere is like, so here, let's talk about Taiga. Taiga, what's her name? Taiga Asuka or something from Toradora.
Yes.
She is very much a tsundere. Like she clearly like cares about her, like, her friends and stuff, but she's also like, she's really violent. And I think it might just be like the way Toradora was like written, or maybe they thought it was like funny, like, oh yeah, like she's small but she beats the shit out of this big guy all the time, and it's like funny, and I just don't really like that. That's my biggest issue with it. You know who's actually bad soon? Minami Shimada. I don't know who that is, Doom.
Hang on, I am looking them up because that name sounds familiar to me. This bitch!
What we got?
Okay, I remember this bitch! I don't know. I like this character. I think you're capping, Doom.
So as you can see,
Personally.
tsunderes are a very contentious topic. I like the ones that aren't just purely mean. There's a meme that I like to send to people every time I remember it exists, where it's just a picture of Severa from Fire Emblem Awakening, and a voice actress going, "You've heard of tsundere. Now get ready for a girl who just actually doesn't like you at all." And I think it's funny. But yeah, so that's kind of the core of like what I think a tsundere is. It's usually somebody who is dishonest with their feelings or not outwards with their feelings, typically for reasons of vulnerability or being afraid of losing something. I said this when we were doing the silly list. She runs in the show. She ruins the show.
You I don't know, Doom. I think you're capping. I think you're capping personally.
So let's move on, shall we, gang?
Like Zoink.
Like Zoink Scoob, we gotta talk about other areas. Oh, there are a lot of them. There's a lot of them. There's Kudere. That's a character that seems emotionally distant. That would be like Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is up in the top right corner. There are a ton of other examples. I just don't really know that many of them. There's also the girl from Angel Beats with the white hair. What was her name? Something Kanata?
I do not remember. Like, when I think Kudere, the one character I tend to think of immediately, other than Rei Ayanami, is the white-haired girl from Darker Than Black.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
Darker Than Black is fucking metal, and then there's a second season that doesn't exist.
Okay, yeah, like Devil May Cry 2.
Yeah.
A kamidere is kami means god, so it's usually a girl who's very condescending or has a god complex. Sometimes it can be a front, and sometimes it's Eren Inakari on the bottom there. She's actually cool as fuck, though. And then a yandere is usually a character that loves another character so much that they want to kill them or something. I don't know. I haven't like spent a lot of time looking at them. I feel like
she's just like me, for real, for real.
I feel like yanderes kind of appear a lot in like Dango Bongo and shit that I just like don't
Dango Bongo!
choose to experience.
Actually, I'm trying to think here. I don't remember any actual yandere from Dango Bongo other than like maybe Genocide Jack, and even then, I feel like that's kind of a stretch at points.
There's a character named Genocide Jack?
Yes.
Oh, that's what Yandere Simulator is then? I have no idea what Yandere Simulator is, Kat, to be honest. Some people might say that Sakura Mato is the yandere, and I think that's wrong. I think there are maybe trace amounts of it in her, but I think that her character is much more complex than that. And that would be the one I identify with the most because Fate, right? There's a bunch of others there that aren't as prevalent, but you can look through them all if you want. They literally have some that's like, oh, here's like an older, here's like an older sister dere, and here's like a drinks a lot dere, and so on and so forth. It's good that you don't know about
Drinks a lot
Yasuo,
dere
trust
is
me.
definitely my aesthetic.
They
but I want to say
literally-
Can I say something real quick?
Please go ahead.
I think that Dede is less of a hard character type and
Mhm.
more of a spectrum.
What does Dere mean? Is it just,
So,
like, a
if I
character?
recall, Sun, it's the original thing for Tsundere, which
Right.
It's like
Sun, which is
Sun
somebody who's
Dere Dere.
cold.
yeah, and then Dede, which has
warm or
like when
something.
they're warming up on you, essentially. And then that term ended up getting co-opted into a bunch of other terms, essentially,
Yes. Okay.
starting with Tsundere from Japanese slang, essentially.
Yes.
And I feel in general, it's just character writing. It's just
Yeah.
whenever I hear weebs go on about this, myself included, I will definitely be like, "Oh, that character's super soon." There's
Mhm.
a point where I used to make a really shitty joke whenever I would see Kurisu show up in Steins Gate.
Mhm.
Love that character, by the way.
She's
I wish she was
probably the
real
best
and my
part.
friend.
Yes.
I would always go, "Oh man, it always is Suni in Philadelphia," and then my friend would turn to me and be like, "Kill yourself," and I'd be like, "Kill me yourself, you coward." But
Yeah.
essentially, it's just one of those things where I'll hear it be brought up as like this hard line. Oh,
It's
this
not a hard
character's 100% this, and I'm over
They are
here just
traits
like
a character can possess.
exactly. It's
or
it's just character writing.
Right. At most, it's an archetype. I think
Exactly.
there is no catch-all for this is everything a tsundere is. It is. I think that's a good point. Like, it's a character that, like, when we say this, like, it's part of a character. It's best not to think of it as like every tsundere is like this, right? So yeah, those are the deres for you. Here's another term. Best girl, boy. This is just a simple turn of phrase to describe one's favorite character either within a work of fiction or across all works of fiction. This is not necessarily a romantic interest. Sometimes, like, I see a lot of, like, characters, a lot of, like, precious babies, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my daughter, this is my son, and so on and so forth. Sometimes it is a romantic interest, but not explicitly. What are we talking about here? Dango Bongo? Okay. So anyways, there's really a lot to be said about this kind of thing, but I don't think we should have to worry about it too much. Let's keep moving. Rin Tosaka is a fictional character introduced in the 2004 visual novel Fate's Day Night by Type Moon. Rin is a high school student who becomes the master of the mage Ardra, a spirit warrior. Together they participate in a war between other mages and warriors known as the Holy Grail War. And then, of course, we've got little...
Is that Sojiro Mihoyo from hit video game Witch on the Holy Night, available now on the Nintendo Switch Entertainment System and the Sony PlayStation 4 Computer Entertainment System?
It sure is, and everybody should play that fucking... It's actually so good. It's just a visual novel. It's like reading a book, but then, like, more fun. Also, do you remember? So the other day in Mr. Mufflerman's personal server, I accidentally started a 13-chain, like, Sojiro posting. And the reason I started that was because I needed to grab the sticker to put it in this slide.
I could have just given you the PNG.
Yes, but I didn't need you to, I guess.
Oh
There
my
you go.
god.
So yeah, and also, like, then we got a 13 chain of Sojiro. It was great. I don't even know Kasumi's wiki, but I didn't... Beely, I need you to look a little closer. It's written there. I wrote it down. I just realized, because Index also originally started in 2004, that the year brought forth both of our best girls. That's... yeah. Anyways, I love Rin. But I wouldn't necessarily say she is my waifu for a variety of reasons. Waifu is used to refer, this is like an Urban Dictionary definition. Waifu is used to refer to a fictional girl or woman, usually in anime, manga, or video games, that you have sexual attraction to and would even marry. Husbando is the same, but it's basically for masculine characters. So here we have Camilla Fire Emblem and Seteth Fire Emblem Three Houses. These are two characters that I think a lot of people would dub their waifu or husbando. But the problem is, okay, so here's the thing. You would hope usually when people say that, they're just messing around. Like, they're not actually, like, in love with a fictional character that doesn't exist. So it's usually hyperbole. People joke about it. Like, oh, like, I've got, like, one time I was drawing, I anthropomorphized my mic here. Into a character called NT1chan, and Byosuke messages me. He goes, "What the fuck? You turned your mic into a waifu?" And I said, this is the biggest compliment I've ever received, because I was, like, not very confident in my drawing at the time. I'm still not, but it's funny. Yeah, the often is hurting you. You don't want to see when it's not hyperbole. It's gross.
So may I interject here
Please-
once again?
please
I'm so
interject.
sorry. Have you ever seen this piece of ancient YouTube wisdom I use in air quotes? One of the first video essays ever conceived by the white man, called Waifuism and You.
I don't think I have.
Um,
Or if I have, I don't remember it.
I can tell you right now, it is a piece of YouTube history. I think it is still up on the platform as well. Like this is a video that I watched back when I was making Super Smash Bros. Brawl Machinima, right? That shows how fucking old this shit is. And let me take a look here. Yeah, the original video is still up. It has almost 700,000 views.
That's not a lot for something that's apparently magnanimous and has existed since between.
11 years ago.
Oh my god.
It was 11 years ago. And yeah, I remember this was when I learned what a waifu was. And essentially, kind of going into detail about, apparently there was a point online where there was like this cultist status of once you claimed a character as your waifu, you could
Nobody
not claim another character as your waifu, and you would be cheating on them. And
That's
it's
so funny. That's funny. I don't know. I'm
it's
thinking
so
like,
wild.
I mean, do you believe in polygamy or not? You know, it's like,
Exactly. Do you believe in
Are you
fictional
loyal?
anime
are
polygamy?
you loyal or not?
Exactly.
There you go. So there's our Sojiro emoji. If you subscribe to Red Muffler Man on Twitch, you too can use that emoji, in Twitch chat.
You don't even have
Um,
to subscribe. I think it's a follower emote.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. You can't cheat on fictional beings? It's the idea, though. I think sometimes
the
people get fictional
concept.
relationships. It's a concept. These are not the actual words for wife and husband in Japanese. Do not use them like so. And I think a lot of people receive it better if you just say wife or husband. As I understand, it's a little... You'll get mixed reception depending on who you're talking to when you say waifu. I think it's kind of... they'll think you're like Rawhide Kobayashi Alter if you...
Yeah. I know that the term itself, I'm pretty sure, found like its first use when people were fucking watching like Azumanga Daioh, and there's literally just this teacher character, and they're talking to him, and they're like, "Wow, who's that Bepping over there?" And then he just like turns up, and he's like this really skinny bald dude,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "My wife."
My wife. Oh, I see what you're saying.
And like people took that as,
Right.
"Oh yeah, okay, we have to say waifu now."
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, Bio, what's up? What am I grinding my gears on right now? Shouldn't it send that right away? What's the next slide while you're typing that up? We're about to talk about Culture Shock, Bio. What is it? Give me the sauce. When people say your waifu is theirs. You know what really grinds my fucking gears? When people say that Rin Tosaka is their waifu, and then they're just like, any Rin is okay for them. Like, Ishtar, or fucking, like, what's her name? Ereshkigal, or even, like, Luvia, or, like, anything that looks, like, moderately like Rin. Like, these are all separate characters, right? And if you think that they are just completely interchangeable, you are wrong, and you clearly do not love Rin. That's what grinds my gears about that. Sharp Steven, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the presentation. We're getting in the tail end here, but we're having a great time, or at least I am.
I'm having a great time.
This is great. So Culture Shock. There's a couple things that I'm gonna go over that they're Culture Shocks in that they might be a little confusing if you've never watched anime before. And it's not even like okay, here's a Japan thing, here's a US thing. It's more like, here's what we know and here's what happens in anime. It's not even like necessarily like a Japanese thing. So nosebleeds. In America, we're like, oh shit, apply some pressure, and if it happens all the time, get your nose cauterized, stop the bleeding. In anime, it's a gag to show when a character is excited. I didn't really understand how to point it out, but I don't really, So here we have a couple of examples. We have Sanji from One Piece, or as some people call it, Mid Piece. And he is what you can't see there is he is being caressed into some young woman's bosom, and he seems very happy about that, even though he looks incredibly bloodied. And then on the bottom right, we have that is Marie from Last Dungeon Boonies. Recall supposed kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town. And what happens there is Lloyd, who is behind her, is just such a precious little baby. So polite, so good-spirited that she can't handle it, and you know, like, because she's very like excited for whatever that means, her nose starts bleeding. And then in the top right we have that is Aoko Aozaki in Fate Carnival Phantasm, who the implication is because Aoko is immortal and Shiki Tono there is not, that Aoko was raising Shiki into being the ideal husband for her. Now, nowadays, and in the US, we call this grooming, but they call it like the Genji Shoujo method or something in Japan, and they don't really think about it the same way we do, at least not in anime from what I've seen. So yeah, something about high blood pressure. Let's move on.
What the fuck?
The best girl from that show? Marie. I think they're all cool, honestly. Here's something. Walking in on people in the bath, changing, etc. So usually in America, there's like a mutual embarrassment. Like you open the door, you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And like you close the door, and then you're like, it's a little awkward or whatever. In anime, typically ends in a violent altercation. I think it's supposed to be funny, and I've never laughed.
I mean,
no,
I would be
not the
violent
bathhouse.
too if you walked in on me during a smear frame like this.
Is this even a smear frame?
This is definitely an in-between frame.
You think so? I think this is
This
from...
has the looks of an in-between frame because like, look at Narukami's face, his hair, and like how far his eyes are apart. Like, you can...
So I think what this is not from the animation. This is from the game.
Thing is, the game had really good animation though.
Did it?
Yeah, and like the thing is, I wouldn't even say this is bad animation. I think this just looks like an in-between frame.
Okay.
This is
It
just
could
how
be-
in-between frames
It could
look.
certainly be an in-between, and the water would also seem to signify that. There were other things, but I didn't really want to put, like, half-naked anime girls in this
No, you see, I
presentation.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
But you know what it's from. So it usually ends in some kind of violent altercation. That's a little unusual. I think if anybody's ever, like, walked in on somebody, like, change or something, it's very much, at least from my experience, it's oh gosh, sorry, whatever, and then whatever. Student council. So in the U.S., in my experience, it is a thing to put on college apps. When I was younger, I was in the student council when I was like 5th grade, and I don't really know why I wanted to do it. I guess it just felt like made me feel like important or special or whatever. And I think what we did was on Thursdays we would take 45 minutes to do all the recycling in the school. So that was a thing. And then actually. Okay, we're not ready to talk about that yet. I thought I had another slide. But here's a fun little anecdote of student council or student central government. When I was in college, the student central government was a group of people who tried to make small tweaks and improvements around campus, and they insisted that the things that they did were really important and valuable, and all of us treated them like a joke. And one of the reasons that we did that was because at one point they published a Thank you, Crispy, for the subscription. You were here just in time to talk about Kill la Kill. So basically, they published a student housing affordability guide, which is for like off-campus housing, not like dorms, because everybody knows the dorms are incredibly expensive. It's ridiculous. And one of the things in the affordability guide, they included things such as stop buying coffee, or like eat your dinner at home, or fire your maid. So it came out perhaps a little out of touch. And then we all laughed at them. And then when elections came up, everybody was going to vote for the campus corgi. And then the student central government got really mad. They said, if you do this, like this says this about you, basically like making like false, what do you call those? False equivalencies or something? They said, if you vote for the campus corgi, you're this, that, or the other thing. I don't want to get into it just to avoid sticky situations. And we all clowned on them. And then 3 days later, some guy comes in just to like, for his own pride, I guess, and types out like, we do all these things. And it's like, yeah, shut up, dude. We're done with this conversation. So that's America. And then in anime, it is the governing body of a region, higher than any local government. And if you have read Witch on the Holy Night for the Nintendo Switch Entertainment System or the Sony PlayStation 4 Computer Entertainment System, and it's not on Steam, right?
Is not on Steam. You are
It's not on
correct.
Steam.
However, if you can read Japanese, you can read the original PC version of Mahotsukai no Yoru, available only in Japanese for the PC Computer Entertainment System,
For DOS or something.
without voice acting.
Yes. But this shit, okay, literally, the shit that happens in MiHoYo is textbook Anime Student Council, which is very funny. You've done that episode, right?
Partially, yes.
Okay, then I won't say any more about it. But basically, the student council, like in anime, they get shit done. They are nothing like American student councils or student central governments. They are not going to tell you to fire your maid. They are going to like uproot the cause of like the wealth gap in your county. That is what they will do instead.
Or if we're talking like Love Live, they will start up an entire idol group to keep their school from closing down so that they can raise money in order to keep the school functioning through idol shows.
Is that really the premise of Love Live?
Yes.
Are you for real?
I'm 100% for real. Love Live is actually fantastic.
Wow. That's such incredible dedication.
Yeah, if people ever talk shit about Love Live, 1, I will destroy them. 2, I will then begin singing Snow Halation while I slowly walk towards them.
And I cast Intimidating Shout. What do you want to shout?
Todo kete seitsuna
Sorry, wo.
namae
wo.
Tsukio ka Snow Halation.
Halation. There you go.
Oh god.
Yo, shut up. You watch Rent a Girlfriend. You can admit to watching Love Live.
Rent a
Anyways,
Girlfriend's good too. I'm tired of this Rent a Girlfriend slander.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it's probably more shameful than Love Live.
It is definitely more shameful than Love Live, but I will say Rent a Girlfriend is good, and I will die on that.
Maybe,
hill.
maybe you know what? If you recommend it, maybe I'll watch it and then let God judge me. Anyways, next trope, church. In America, the church is evil, but not always in your face about it. You know, maybe you're familiar. In anime, church is evil, and it's in your face about it. God damn it! Do any of these people look like good people besides the person on the bottom right, who we'll get to in a moment? Who amongst these 4 individuals looks good, right?
I would trust that strapping young lad on the bottom left to
left.
do my taxes.
He would do your taxes, but he would say, referral only, pay me $500, I'll do them. And then he'll say, now the government owes you $2,000. I literally know a guy, or I know of a guy like that. Might have him do my taxes this year. And he accepts 100% liability, so I don't know what he does. I assume he just has dirt on somebody at the IRS.
God.
So anyways, there's one other thing about church. The nuns are always sexy. Why did they do this? What were they thinking? The priest dude from FMA, dude, he's in and out so quickly. I forgot about his ass. Yeah, he's a little
So I
bastard.
think a big part of that might just be because it's
Foreigner thing.
you know, World War II happened and America ended up kind of occupying a lot of Japan,
Did they?
and
I
with
guess that's-
and with that came a lot of our ideals that were potentially being forced upon them.
Mhm.
One of them being Christianity. And
Mhm.
you know, you gotta get back at it somehow, and that might just mean, you know, depicting the church as evil in your media, and then also taking this object of purity from that
Uh-huh.
religion and making it into a fetish object.
That is a very reasonable explanation. I definitely think that's part of it, especially the front end of that explanation with, basically. Well, I mean, I think also like Japan's not super big into organized religion as it is, anyways, right?
For the most part, organized religion is not huge there. However, obviously, it
There's
does
spiritualism and
exist.
Shintoism and stuff, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think that what you said about nuns is probably true. I also think it could just be a case of nuns are usually or often depicted as missionaries in anime. And
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, we see this is Sister Nia from Ys 8. And she is, look at her, blonde hair, blue eyes. Does she look like Japanese at all? No. She's like meant to be. I think that it's part of that kind of like, wow. Justin, thank you for the follow. You are showing up just in time for. I think we are in the final stretch here. But anyways, I think it might just be a thing of kind of like, I'd hate to say exoticism, but it might be like that kind of appeal, right?
I mean, I would say that is also probably a part of it.
Yes, but I think everything you said is probably more poignant and very, very true.
I mean, my sources are more or less speculation. I will not say to the point of my sources, I made it up. But like in terms of the speculation and like the from what I've seen of the culture, just by like my own little digging through wikis at some point, it makes sense.
It checks out. It checks out to me with a cursory like glance.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite.
Yes. This is the one slide Mr. Mufflerman may have been privy to ahead of time. This is weird little hobbies. We've got weird little hobbies in America. Weird little hobbies are weird little hobbies. You play Magic the Gathering. You spin some tops. You do some gunpla or whatever. Maybe you do a little bit of dogfighting. In anime, it is a universal pastime that determines one's social rank. Right? If you're not like a good like Beyblader in Beyblade, you're a fucking loser, dude. You're like a have-not. There's haves and have-nots, and you're a scrub. If you're fucking in Yu-Gi-Oh and you don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh or Dice Monsters or something, you're just like you're below human. You're useless. You're Taya. And then in Pokemon, imagine fucking this world where there's these 10-year-olds like walking around, like traveling the world, making bank, going on adventures, and you fucking work at the Pokemart. You're selling them Pokeballs for $2 a pop. Like, okay, yeah, you know what you're not doing? Being a trainer. You idiot. Custom Robo, that's basically just Gunpla that you can play with. I don't know if you guys have ever played Custom Robo. It's a little obscure.
Custom Robo is pretty fucking rad. I've played
cool.
it. I've also played Gotcha Force.
Oh. Custom Robo was one of the first, not one of the first. I played the first one that came over to the US. I was really, I don't know, like I had a friend who had it. Like, the only way you get into games like back in the, mid 2000s, a friend of mine had it and I looked at it and I'm like, I want that. And basically what Custom Robo is there are these tiny robots, and to like fight people and like resolve conflicts, you will have like these little holographic battles with your tiny robots.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
And then Gundam came around and said, what if we made Gundam build fighters, or our plastic model kits are injected with special particles that bring the plastic to life so that they can fight one another?
Yes.
And it's Kino. It is
took it
actually
personally.
Kino.
I have gotten beat up and kicked out of a restaurant because I didn't have 5 million power in Rise of Kingdoms. It's not a weird little hobby.
I mean, I had to show someone that I didn't have a legendary hero in Raid Shadow Legends, but you can fix that by entering code Shane Valshane to get 3 legendary heroes and 500 free silver.
So true. But it's not. What else do we have? Oh, fuck, we're already at the conclusion slide. Here we go. Actually, the thing is, I think when I didn't like rehearse this very much, but I went through the slides to kind of have an understanding of the timing and make sure that everything was in place. So let's go through the conclusion here. I submit that anime is a medium through which one may tell stories, or a visual style that can be applied to various media, as we discussed with, it can literally be anime. I don't really think of anime as a genre. I think other things like rom-com and such qualify as genres. I think anime is just a medium through which you can tell stories, or it is a style to be applied on your like video games or visual novels or art even, or what have you. I think, there you go. There are a lot of genres. If you don't like, battle shonen, maybe you'll like shoujo. Maybe you'll like mystery. Maybe you'll like rom-coms. Maybe you'll like isekai. Or, something, a little bit of both. The genres in anime are frequently like mixed and matched. They frequently have, genres that like they're like, okay, this is an isekai, but or like it's isekai, but and so maybe you'll find like I don't really like isekai, but I really liked Restaurant to Another World because I really like the cooking aspect or something. So there's a lot out there to give a try. A lot of the hang-ups in anime can be addressed by choosing what you watch carefully and giving it an honest, fair chance. If you go into it being like, I expect this show to suck and I want this show to suck so I can bitch about it and stuff, like, you're not really giving it a fair chance. And I think that's an important thing for a lot of media, is like to address it on what it's trying to be as opposed to like what you think it is, or something just like unfair. I see people kind of talk about how channels like Wisecrack or whatever or CinemaSins kind of damaged like media literacy by saying like, oh,
This isn't cool because if you go to school and they'll tell you that this is like a B movie or something, and that's not cool.
and it's like you like if you're gonna watch fucking G Gundam, don't watch G Gundam expecting. Actually, I don't. What would you not expect from G Gundam?
Don't watch G Gundam thinking that it is going to be a show about political drama and like incredibly I don't want to say bad or like character drama or anything, because like G Gundam is such a complex show in that it starts off as like this huge corny battle action stuff that like rips everything from Super Robot and Shonen,
Yes.
but then later kind of comes around into being like this political type show. But don't go into it thinking you're going to be watching like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, right? Like Tangel, thank you for the follow. You should definitely watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes. You should also probably watch G Gundam. They're both pretty rad.
Yeah.
But they're very different kinds of shows, and you have to be kind of willing to meet it on its level. And I know a lot of people that don't like G Gundam because they're like, oh, it's too bombastic, it's too actiony, and I'm just like, I mean, that's what it's trying to do. And like, if that's not what you want, that's totally fine. But also, like, don't go into it thinking you're gonna be watching, I don't know, The Young and the Restless.
Right. Absolutely. Don't watch Bio. I think Bio says it pretty well, and we've talked about this a little bit in our DMs. Don't watch Dragon Ball as if it's gonna probe your mind with fights that will test your moral standing on political problems. That's not
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
a
good at.
great way of putting it.
But yeah.
You watch
so-
Dragon Ball if you want to watch the Journey West through the lens of someone who really likes Bruce Lee movies.
That's original Dragon Ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just give it a chance. And like, you know, be honest, kind of like with the way you look at it. Try not to just like throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is a culture that surrounds the medium, but you need to engage. It is optional. You don't need to know what a waifu is. You don't need to know what an oshi is. You don't need to like have opinions on like tsunderes. You don't need to watch the seasonals. You don't. It's none of that. It's really just take what you want from it. And if you find yourself wanting to engage with people online, first of all, be careful because that's a risky play. But I will say that it can be like a like something like talk about with your friends or something. It's a fun experience to like enjoy something together. For example, I just played through Witch on the Holy Night. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago now. I might be 3, I'm not sure. But me and Mr. Professor Muffler Man talked about that. Like it just like you sit there and be like, oh man, that was peak fiction. You just say that like back and forth 50 times, and that can be a really rewarding experience. Genuinely, like everybody here, like Bio, I want you to read Witch on the Holy Night really badly because there's some raw shit in there that I want you to see, and then we can talk about it. But I would never dream of just saying what it is because it's not the same. Anyways, so there is a culture that surrounds the medium, but you really don't have to engage. I know I don't personally engage a ton. I've never gone to a convention. I may be looking to change that. But like it's not mandatory. You can just enjoy it and not have to worry about it. You can like Persona and not engage in Persona discourse on Twitter, which is how I recommend living life. Like anything foreign in origin. Did I spell foreign right there? I think so. It may diverge from the culture we know. So this is talking about kind of the culture shocks again. There's some things in there. There's the things with the church. There's the things with student council and so on and so forth that are going to be a little different. But yeah, that's of course it's coming from a different place in the world. And I think it's also kind of informative. It tells you a little bit about the place that it was made by watching what the product is, right? You can't give it a try. Fuck. Give it a try. It can't hurt. If you are a skeptic or if you're on the fence or you're like a little curious, I think that there is like anime is becoming more and more mainstream, especially for young folks, which really makes me happy to see. When I was in high school, like if you liked anime, that was like and you told people about it. Like if you were in the anime club, you were like marking yourself like with like a scarlet letter of like I like whatever. Like we literally said like, oh, that's social suicide to be in like the anime club. And I'm sitting there like watching Naruto on like Watch Naruto Online or something over Thanksgiving break. And I'm like, I can't tell anybody about this, but I want to talk about it so badly. And it's just the point is it's getting better. I think that's like it's becoming a lot more normalized and stuff. And I love that for today's kids because that's a stupid thing to get bullied over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like there is something for everybody in anime. You don't have to watch every anime. You don't have to like every anime, but just consider it as like a medium. And if there's something that catches your eye, maybe give it a chance. Mr. Mufflerman, do you have any closing thoughts? Professor Mufflerman, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Professor Dr. Muffler Man.
Dr. Muffler Man, PH Shiki.
PhD. I don't know. I think the big thing for me is don't be for people that, don't watch anime. I doubt that there are any people in chat like that at the moment. But, should you ever come across this in a YouTube video, this has become Waifuism in You Part 2, right? If you see a show that you like, don't let preconceived notions of something stop you from at least giving something a shot if you think you're gonna like it,
Right.
And also, if you see something that someone's recommending you and it doesn't look like right up your alley immediately, I'm always usually willing to give something 2 or 3 episodes to see if it sticks. I'd say giving something that 2 or 3 episodes, even if you don't end up liking it, it can really broaden your horizons and in general kind of teach you the type of things that you do and don't like. Because I'm very, very sick at this point of hearing people have opinions on stuff and you're like, oh, wow, that's a great opinion. Did a YouTuber tell you that? And it's I'm sick of people just regurgitating opinions of shows that they've not watched. If you want an opinion on something, please just try watching stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it'll only make things better for you.
Right. I always say the best way to judge something and review something is to play it, or for video games, is to play it yourself, or anime, just to watch it yourself.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that anime is very accessible nowadays. When I was a kid, anime just disappeared. It was on Toonami, and then early 2000s it disappeared. Toonami died, anime disappeared, there was nothing anymore, and we didn't have streaming services yet. So the amount of shit SAO gets from people who definitely haven't seen it. I just watched an episode. It wasn't for me. But I think that it's so accessible nowadays. There's so many places you can watch it. Maybe High Dive or Crunchyroll or whatever, and Crunchyroll. But I think that it's easier than ever to do it. And like you said, just try it. It's such a low barrier to entry nowadays. It's not like you have to go and buy a Pokemon cassette tape at Blockbuster Video or something.
You don't have to buy Carnival Phantasm to get Melty Blood
Oh my
Actress
God.
Again current code for PC.
I still can't believe that was how it was distributed. To be fair, though, Carnival Phantasm is actually so good.
There's a reason why it's one of the most pirated video games of all time, and it was because that was the only way you could really get it in the West.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
so
import
funny.
Carnival Phantasm from some weird ass import shop.
Yeah,
That's insane.
It's so fucking funny.
So at this point, I don't know if anybody's gonna have a lot of questions, but I would like to open the floor for a little bit of Q&A. If anybody has any questions or wants to be funny, this would be a great opportunity for that. And if not, I guess in the meantime, Mr. Muffler Man, I guess bring your slide back up here. There were 36 slides, or no, 37 slides. Here we go. This is Mr. Muffler Man's socials. This is all the things he does. It's been a lot of fun. Tomorrow, by the way, on his Twitch channel, we're going to be streaming Fate Grand Order and doing a live dub. And I thought about it today. And I've never heard of anybody else ever doing that. Are we trailblazing?
I've seen people do dramatic readings or just single read-throughs.
Snippets?
My friend Zetaslow is playing through FGO currently, and he's
Uh-huh.
reading through it all. I have another one who, oh my god, his name's Tanner, and he currently has a 500-part FGO LP that he's doing.
Holy shit.
But he's doing literally everything by himself, and every part of this LP is 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
So
I
it's
think in
250
general of a
hours.
group I think in general of a group setting where we're sitting down and just reading parts of the story in the way that we are, we might be one of the first people doing this. And you know
Regardless.
what? I can see why, because Blackbeard is a fuck.
Yeah, I was thinking for tomorrow I have a plan for Blackbeard. I don't want to spoil it. But anyways, that's something that we do, and it's super, super fun. It's always a highlight of my week to do that kind of stuff. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely check this man out on any and all of his socials. I genuinely think his content is actually very funny. I think what happened was the pipeline was I saw the Shikiverse video, and then same day I saw him like pop up on Twitter, and I'm like, isn't that the Shikiverse guy? And so I like popped him with him like, I'll hit him with that follow, right? And then I got the follow back, and I was like, oh fuck, now I'm being watched, right? And then you know, like a year and a half later or so, here we are. We're giving presentations, we're spreading information. So yeah. Anyways,
I'm trying to remember. I think the reason I hit you with the follow back, I'm trying to remember. It was either because I visited your Twitter and saw that you were also a voice actor and saw the Neko arc, and I'm like, this person's on the level, or I couldn't remember if you had started posting the new Muffler Man just dropped like before or after I followed you.
I think that was after.
I could not remember because that was an arc.
That was, I can't, honestly, part of me wishes I could still do that, but actually I'm looking at my, my laptop has said less than a minute remaining on its OS update for, I started at 2, it's now 9 p.m., so 7 hours.
Fuck.
If I lose all of my audio files on here, I am going to become the Joker. But yeah, that was... I still have a couple of those saved. I at least have the CL one saved. And man, the cropping I had to do on some of those dockies was insane. Anyways, Byo asked, is the show's length a valid reason to not watch or read a series? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because, I mean, I'm not going to tell somebody who I know is strapped for time, hey, you've get Doom. I'm not going to tell somebody who I know has, like, no free time, yeah, just watch the show. It gets really good after the first 300 episodes, right? That's craziness. I think that, for me, I actually personally prefer things that are, like, shorter. Things that are, like, one season, or maybe, like, their seasons are short and, like, you know, can be, or satisfying on their own. For example, Slime Isekai, I think does a really nice job of, I just realized I'm checking the reverb. Slime Isekai does a really nice job of like ending a season in a good place where you feel satisfied and then leaving room for more in a way that I don't feel like, this is incomplete. So, what else? Unlimited Blade Works is only 26 episodes and it's my favorite anime. Period. Violet Evergarden is 12. Like, there's so many incredible stories that can be told in a short number of episodes. It makes me really wonder how I ever watched literally like 700 episodes of Naruto. So I mean, it's really like, you need to make sure that if you're recommending something for them, you're not just saying like, I like this, read it. Like, you need to consider like where they're coming from. Like, if you have somebody who like, for example, I don't do very well with gore or anything. I just don't really like it. I don't like Berserk for that reason. I find it like kind of upsetting. Fate Zero honestly pushes it a little bit for me, but it's peak enough that I push through. And so on and so forth. You need to make sure you're customizing your recommendations. Do you have any thoughts, Mr. Muffler Man? I mean, Vio's just trying to get me to read One Piece, but that's besides the point.
All right, so in the way I like to think about it is length is one of those things that can definitely be a deal breaker, because like there's a reason why I keep telling myself I will save the reading of One Piece for a rainy day. That rainy day will likely be when I have a week left to live and I have nothing left to do. Because I know for a fact that I will have all the time in the world and I will not be interrupted and I can kind of just do whatever. So you know what? That week on my deathbed, I'll experience peak fiction. After that, you know what?
And then you'll
not
read One
too
Piece.
Worried. Yeah, I'll have caught up with One Piece before I die. But like in general, you know, I think that length is one of those things where it can definitely be considered because, like, you know, I have a job and a job and a job and a job, and all of this shit takes up way too much time. I could binge a 12-episode thing all at once, or I could, like, be watching a 50 or a 100-episode series, but that's also time I could be using on making content or sending auditions or streaming.
It's really hard to settle down sometimes and just, like, especially as a creative, and be like, yeah, I'm okay not doing anything, like, quote-unquote productive for, you know, a week straight. Like, I would get extremely antsy, and I have. Like, I've been sick before, or, like, I got sick, like, at the beginning of the new year, and, like, the only reason I'm okay, like, sitting around and doing nothing is because, like, my productive task right now is getting better. But other than that,
literally, I watched all of Breaking Bad in 2 days, but that was only because I was dying of the flu.
Yeah.
I never would have done that otherwise. Breaking Bad, also very good anime. Should have been on the slides.
Shit, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, like Bryan Cranston's role as Goku is easily like a 9 out of 10.
Definitely. There's definitely like a little bit of lulls in the pacing between the Greed Island arc and the Boo arc, but I think that I feel other than that it's a 9 out of 10.
But
If
then
Lank's a
also
big-
when Jesse Pinkman and Walter White fused together and they made Jesse Pinkolo.
Yeah,
I-
that was a big moment for Shonen, I think. in
Huge
general.
what? Huge moment. Huge moment.
So Zbio says, the way I see it, if length's a big problem, then you read a series start to finish instead of enjoying it, but that's just me. So Bio, something you should consider is we have 10 years of experience on you at least. And so watch your tone, young blood.
Oh god. So for me it is more along the lines of I don't like to just watch something start to finish. I like to enjoy it as I go. But there's also a point
You want to be
where-
satisfied, right? You want to like see that conclusion.
See, it isn't even that for me.
Okay.
For me, it is along the lines of I have like a set amount of time before my neurodivergency rips me away
Yeah.
from the thing that I'm currently enjoying, and I
Uh-huh.
will end up enjoying something else.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm really liking this thing. And then all of a sudden, like while I'm reading Mihoyo, in the back of my mind, I'll be like, oh my god, I really want to fucking play Blaze Blue now for some reason.
Yes.
And I will literally not be able to enjoy it anymore because I have hit the time limit and have to move on to something else for a little while.
Right. I totally get that. I'm actually so I know what you're saying, but I think it resonates with me in like a slightly different way. The way it works for me is like the last video game I played that wasn't like Smash with my friends was Mihoyo. And I finished that I want to say it was 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, which is crazy to me. But it was like I specifically did not move on to the next thing because I still want to think about it and like finish processing it. I started a drawing of Alice at least a week ago and I still haven't finished it. And I just like I want to like while I have like that fixation and like it's all fresh in my mind and it is the first thing in my mind when I'm thinking about like stories and stuff, I want to
Yes.
take that and I want to use it to create. And if I started playing, for example, like next time my list is probably like Trials of Mana or whatever you want to call it. Like I know if I start playing that, like I'm going to immediately like lose that like creative spark or that drive to like kind of like pay tribute to like the Mihoyo characters and stuff. Because the exact same thing happened. I just finished Fire Emblem Engage, and then like 2 days later I started playing Mihoyo, and then I read Mihoyo in like 5 days or something. And like all
Yeah.
the Fire Emblem stuff was like whoop, and it's like yeah I remember this, but now it's like no longer like in the forefront of my mind.
And I think the other thing for me is I have to be in a very specific mood to be able to want to consume media. Because, like,
Yes.
I've been trying to read Fate Strange Fake, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start reading this.
Is that a
and I
light
get
novel?
through. It is a light novel, yes.
Okay.
It is also a manga. Like,
Okay.
I'm reading the novel because I like reading novels a
Mm.
lot. But I was getting through the first 2 pages of the novel, and, like, I have this thing where when I'm reading something in a novel, I visualize it playing out in my head as its own little anime, right? There's an anime
course.
adaptation of it, but there's only in my head.
Yeah, only you have seen it.
Yes, and unfortunately, when it comes to that, it's like I start reading, and then I'm just like, I can't do this right now. Like the gears are not there, nothing is like being consumed properly.
Right.
And so it's like if I'm watching something really long, I will force myself to take breaks from it. There's a reason why I only ever read My Hero Academia chapters once there's like 5 of them up. Because I'm like, I need energy to deal with this shit.
That makes sense. I think I'm in a similar way. Like, I'm a little goddamn bastard to like get down to watch a movie. Like whenever I'm with my family, they're just like, "Hey, you guys want to watch a movie tonight or something?" And I'm like,
Not really.
"Jeez, I don't know, guys." But then it's like, the week before, like I sat and watched all of a certain scientific railgun or something. Right?
I have this exact same problem.
It's like-
you cannot get me to sit down to watch a movie.
yeah, like
because
hour and a half
an
movie, like,
hour.
ooh, I don't like that. But like, like 6.5 like hour like anime, like yeah.
And I think the only exception being if you sat me down to watch Promare, I'd be like, Oh yes, sir.
Let's fucking go.
Or Into the Spider-Verse. Those are two of the greatest animated pieces of anything ever made.
So if you enjoyed Spider-Verse, I recommend Puss in Boots.
I am going to be watching Puss in Boots at the first opportunity I get. Do not worry.
It is
It's on my list.
I think you will enjoy the animation style, if nothing else. But yeah,
Yes.
Spider-Verse is for a while. Like Spider-Verse is my go-to. Like I had to manufacture two personalities. I have like the authentic personality, which is like, okay, like this is the Shane that doesn't feel the need to hide his interests and stuff. This is the Shane that can talk about like anime and video games and tell stories about like the things that made an impact on him. And then there's the manufactured Shanes. Like this is the Shane I bring to family events. This is the Shane I bring to meet people who I don't think share interests with me and stuff. And Spider-Verse is nice because it's kind of like it lets me intersect the two personalities a little bit, because I genuinely love Spider-Verse and it's digestible and easy for people to understand because like it's Spider-Man. Oh, I get that. But like if I'm like, oh man, I watched this awesome show. It was called Violet Evergarden. They're like, what's that about? And I'll be like, it's about a girl who works at a post office. And they're gonna think it's some Downton Abbey shit. And then it turns out they're gonna look it up. It's gonna be some fucking like anime, and then they're like, ooh, that's weird. Like, it's one of my relatives like, oh, this guy's weird. And like even to this day, unfortunately, I still kind of feel like I can't be super honest with my my relatives about like the things that I like to do, my hobbies, like my projects and stuff. And I guess that's kind of part of the reason I felt so motivated to make this presentation, was because I am just so tired of the stigma, and if I can make it better for people like down the line, I don't know, maybe I'll take this and cut it down into like a really, can I get into a 30-minute video? I'm really not sure, but maybe just like cut it down and then people can like show it to like their families. I don't know, like that's I guess a really ambitious ask, but I just want to make this shit normal. I don't think it's a big deal. I think that, again, like Game of Thrones, like, yeah, like, hey, Aunt Laura, did you see that episode of Game of Thrones where these twins were literally banging in front of this, like, child? Then they pushed the child off the tower and he gets paralyzed for life? That was crazy, right? Hey, did you see this show about a fucking girl who works at the post office? Like, sorry, I will never get over this. I'm so upset.
Or trying to explain the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so here's this thing. I try to explain to people that the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Is maybe one of the best soap operas I've ever seen, okay?
Do you mean the anime or the manga?
The anime.
Okay.
Because, up to a point, because there's a point where it just kind of shits itself in terms of production, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a very troubled production in, like, its last 2 years. But essentially, it has an aesthetic that is so 2000s. It really has a look and feel and like the way that it is made. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! I think is one of the most innovative shows ever made. And yet there's this stigma surrounding it because they're like, oh, this is a show that was made to sell cards. And I'm like, no. This is a show that has so much heart and it has so much cool stuff going for it. And yes, eventually part of it did turn into we are selling merchandise. But the story and the show and the characters and like the themes and the morals that are there are some of the coolest things I've ever seen and that I could talk about for literally hours. The music and the aesthetic, it feels not like an anime. It feels like I am watching a show about real fucking people. It is just that it centers around a weird card game.
Right.
And it is this piece of media that I think is absolutely fucking fascinating, but it has that barrier of entry, quote unquote, of it's about a card game for kids. I'm not going to fuck with it. And I'm over here like, bro.
And even then, it's like, it's even harder to sell. It's like, okay, it's an anime about a card game that's made for kids or I do not think of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a fucking kids card game at this point.
It is definitely not.
It's a money game.
It is definitely a money game. And I still find it funny that there are people that will still shit on Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds when Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds has the third fucking impact where the world literally fucking ends and people are having to live through a second apocalypse. And it's so fucking cool. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is the coolest shit ever. God damn!
Do I have the VOD of the silly little guy's alignment chart? Oh fuck.
Oh
don't know.
no.
It's
Shane!
What? How long do VODs
Please!
last? I don't record. I don't record on local.
Do you not make highlights on your Twitch where you go back and take your VODs and then save them as highlights?
I only do that on your Twitch, which is stupid because I can't make highlights on somebody else's channel, so I have to take a fucking 7-part, like 1.5-minute clip of me having a meltdown because MASH loves Senpai, and I won't hear any other opinions about it!
Oh, it's still on your count! You can still save it! Let's go! Woo, baby! That's what it's all about!
Yeah, baby! Doom, oh fuck, but I don't have YouTube. Shit, my laptop is down, and I don't have, YouTube DL on my desktop.
You can just, so here's the thing, if you highlight something on your Twitch as a VOD, the highlight will stay forever.
Okay.
So you can highlight it and then export it later.
Got it. Then I will have to do that. I assume Doom has very good reasons for asking. Or maybe he was just like, just wondering.
Yeah,
Um,
and like, that's what I do with the FGO streams, is I have the highlights on Twitch that stay forever, and then I export them like the day after, and then I get hit with a copyright claim because apparently there's a version of the Unlimited Bladeworks theme that's super copyrighted because it's made by James Fuckface.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I don't know.
You gotta be careful, I guess. I've definitely had things that I put up where, like, I feel like it's fairly innocuous. Oh, God. There's some guy where, like, I used, like, a Fate Go track because I was parodying the scene or not Fate Go, Fate Zero track because it was parodying the scene where Saber and Lancer first fight, and that shit got, like, hit with copyright so hard, it wasn't even like we're taking the revenue on this. It's like, you can't upload this. I was like,
Yeah, it is not viewable in Japan, and you're just like, well, guess I'm cutting this segment out or I'm replacing the track.
I had to replace the track with some royalty-free stuff I had, but it's honestly, like, it's hard to exactly, because, like, I designed it around the other, right? I designed the edits around the other track, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think this has been an outstanding stream. I think we're pretty much all set here. We've got our Q&A done. I'm terrified to think of what I may or may not do with this VOD in the future. But it has been super duper fun. I hope that you all enjoyed it a little bit. Enjoyed how many times I put Inuyasha in there because it's so many different goddamn fucking things. Yeah, I think we definitely, at the very least, it was informative. And hopefully you all found it as entertaining as I found it fun to make. So tomorrow, like I said, at 8 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, should be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be streaming Fate Grand Order on Mr. Mufflerman's Twitch, which is twitch.tv/RedMufflerman. And we're going to be... Do you think we're going to wrap up Okeanu?
Definitely not.
Really? Oh, shit. I thought we were getting close to the end.
So here's the thing. We made, like, no progress last time.
Wait, we didn't?
We made very little
because
progress.
we had the hour and a half of the alignment chart.
We had the hour and a half alignment chart, and also we could not advance forward at points because of how hard we were fucking laughing at how awful some shit was.
I have a plan. I have a plan for that tomorrow, and I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Because if I tell you now, it might not be as funny in the future. Also, I don't want to spoil anything for the audience, but I have plans. I have many contingencies for tomorrow.
Okay.
Anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming to the stream. I thought it was pretty high effort. I even put on a nice shirt and tie. I've got the cufflinks here. I
don't even own cufflinks.
Yeah, they actually, if you twist them, this little thing right here, they'll start moving like a watch. They don't keep time, but it's really cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, let me see if I can kind of gear it up a little bit here.
So what you do is you twist the cufflinks in a certain way, and then when the time hands match up correctly, that is when your Kamen Rider transformation sequence begins.
That is exactly it, actually. That was what I was thinking of verbatim.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. I've got it moving a little bit. I don't know if you can see The cuff link is kind of like ticking.
Oh, I kind of do. That's so useless, but very cool.
It's so cool. I don't dress up a lot. I used to dress up more frequently, and then I've been working from home since 2020. So, most like
mood.
for me, like going to the grocery store, it's like I'm getting ready for a date. You know, I'm like, oh man, let me make sure I look okay, put on my nicest jeans and a cute sweater or whatever. But, anyways, that aside.
See, the way I dress on stream is also the way I dress for dates. So,
is it really?
that's,
I definitely did that when I started streaming in I want to say it was 2021. I got on the cute shirt and everything, and had like the matching ensemble. And now it's like, is my face gonna be on stream or I don't know. But also I try to make myself a little presentable, unless it's like, I mean, we have been in the dead of winter, so now it's like,
yeah.
The other day I had a stream where it was like, all right, I'm just like white girl in it. I had like a cup of tea that I was holding like this, and like a blanket around my shoulders and stuff, and I was like, yep, well.
Oh, so I have this gigantic pajama hoodie, which is like this ridiculously oversized pink fluffy hoodie.
Ooh, yes,
And,
I think
like,
I've seen it.
Yes, I love wearing it. And that is when I'm white girling it up, essentially. And it is pretty all right, all things considered.
I mean, statistically speaking, I'm 50% white girl, Mom was a white girl, Dad was a white guy. I therefore am 50% white girl.
I'd say you could be at least 51%. You could be the setup. You could be that 1% that Mokuba gave to Kaiba to buy Kaiba Corporation.
Huh?
Oh, so in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! During a filler arc, it's very funny. So Kaiba and Mokuba, or Seto Kaiba and Mokuba Kaiba,
Mhm.
are adopted by their abusive father who owns a weapons corporation. And so, what ends up happening is Seto Kaiba buys 50% or 49% of the company's stock under the nose of his father, but his father catches on and he's like, "Ah, you fool, you don't own enough of the stock, and Mokuba owns the last 2%. He would never sell it to you." And then Mokuba's like, "Here, brother, you can have the other 2%. And then Seto Kaiba's like, "Ha, I have 51% now, because you thought my brother wouldn't betray me. You fucking idiot!" And then he pushes Gozaburo Kaiba out of the business and turns the weapons manufacturing company into a gaming company.
Dude, that's my fucking anti-hero.
Seto Kaiba is legitimately one of the
character
coolest characters in
He's
fiction.
so everything. First of all, when I realized that him and Brock have the same English voice actor, like my brain like splattered all over the ceiling. It was disgusting. It took forever to clean up. And then also like every Kaiba clip I can think of, like the fact that he actually has like a line that's like, "You're just a fourth-rate duelist with a," or was it, "You're just a third-rate
duelist with a fourth-rate deck."
And it's like, he says the raw shit. "As the president of a major corporation, destroying the souls of the innocent is something I do every day." And it's like, holy fuck, dude. That guy's raw as shit.
Dude, Seto Kaiba literally was like, "Yugi, if you beat me in this duel, I will jump off this building and kill myself."
He really said that. He's such a sore loser. He's such a drag queen, but I love it. I literally, I cannot think of a more iconic, like, is anti-hero even the right word? He's not like
He
a
is
bad
definitely
guy. He's
an
just
anti-hero.
so fucking petty.
He starts off as like legitimately a villain, and then turns into what is essentially a main member of the
A
supporting
force
cast.
of nature, really.
Yes, he's
Just
truly
he's so
a force
spiteful.
of nature.
Does he really say? I feel like he actually says that. "If at first you don't succeed, blast it with your blue eyes again."
That sounds like something.
That sounds like
Kaiba-
something he would.
I mean, he
say.
literally has made multiple jets
That
in the
look like a
shape
Blue
of
Eyes
the
White
Blue
Dragon.
Eyes White Dragon.
Dude,
I'm
to
pretty
be
sure he
fair,
also
what-
has a Blue Eyes White helicopter.
What we need to remember is that Seto Kaiba, I think, is canonically like 14 or 15. That is so chuny. Like, he would fucking do that, dude.
Oh god, I think he's 17, but I need to look this up now. Seto Kaiba, age. Okay, he is 18.
At what point?
I believe during like Battle City, basically like either Battle City or Duelist Kingdom onward.
Okay, gotcha.
So at the very least, he's 18.
I thought
he
at the
did, however,
beginning he was
own this
still a
company
middle
when
school
he was
student.
like 13.
Mm-hmm.
So like that says a lot about this motherfucker.
Yeah. Sedokai, but did you see the Merryweather comic where they got Little Karibo to voice like Kaiba, and like he spent like all of his research money and stuff just making like a Blue Eyes White Dragon waifu?
I did not know about this.
Oops.
That's mostly because I stopped watching a lot of the Merryweathery comics because it's like they were too surface level. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just it stopped being something I wanted to look at.
I won't judge you if you do or don't. They're not usually
Yeah.
my cup of tea, but I thought that one was pretty funny.
That sounds really good.
But yeah. Anyways, I think it's time to release everybody. I'm gonna see. Is Joey still streaming?
I thought I saw him still streaming.
Let's see. I've got to go into. Let's see here. First of all, I need to change my Twitch scene or whatever this is. Let's go to.
All right, he's definitely still on that Sheldon ring.
Okay. So I'm going to, now that I've hidden that, I'm gonna go into my Chrome so I can access Twitch and stuff. And I'm going to go to Twitch. .tv slash I should learn the shortcut for getting to the stream controls or whatever.
Oh, I mean, I always just type /raid in chat and then the name.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, you can type, I'm gonna send this to you in Discord. If you type our